Oh, hey, bitch. Oh, excuse you. Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry Annie. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hello, and welcome to Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'm your host, Chris Avalon, and for the next, I don't know how long, you know how these shows goes on for how long they go on. It is what it is. But yeah, it's basically a show we basically talk about all things going on, celebrity news, pop culture, all that good stuff. So if that is a show for you, please stick around because we have a lot of titties spill today, including we got to talk box office regarding what's going on with Avatar still eating up the girls at the box office. And I'm going to give y'all a little review of Primate because I did see that on Friday. Also, we got to talk about these Blade rumors because, you know, Jeff Snyder came out and said that Blade has been canceled. There was somebody else that said that Snyder is bugging. So we got all the tea and all that other stuff coming on. And I'm going to give my overall thoughts. Plus, we got to talk about Sarah Michelle Gellar is weighing in on, well, she revealed the new title for Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the show, which is it a reboot? Is it a sequel? What the hell is it? So she gave us a little detail on what it is because she did a recent interview and broke it on down. Plus, we got to talk about Yolanda Adams opening up about homophobia in the church, and what she says may surprise you. Also, we got to talk about Rose McGowan, who was opening up about what it was like being on the set of Charmed, and said that the execs of the show basically checked her weight to make sure that she was at a certain weight and all the other stuff. Plus, we got to talk about Britney Spears saying she'll never perform in the U.S. again, I guess because, you know, she still hasn't dealt with the trauma of being in America and all that other drama that was going on with that with the conservatorship. Plus, we got to talk about this Salt-N-Pepa lawsuit, which UMG, you ain't shit. So we'll talk about that. Beyonce's father is revealing that he never heard his daughter ever talk about money. Plus, we have the latest on that man who stole her unreleased music from that car out in Atlanta what was it, like last year? When she was on the Cowboy Carter tour. I think, yeah, when she was in Atlanta, I think it was wrapping up around that time. Plus, we got to talk about this controversy surrounding Matt Rogers and his little parrot, Bowen Yang, sitting here telling people to not vote for Jasmine Crockett. Oh, we going in on that. We got receipts, we got clips, we got a whole situation. So get your snacks and relax because that one's going to be a key. And plus, we got to break down the second episode of RuPaul's Drag Race, the Q-Pop Queen episode, and my overall thoughts regarding that. So if you are a Drag Race Nista like I am, and you want to weigh in on that, definitely drop it on in the comments, or any of the topics that we have, make sure you leave it in the comments. So yeah, before we get to the topics, if you please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to smash the notification bell, so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I was like, let me turn on the comments so that way we'll see when they pop up in the thing. Surprisingly, nobody dropped any already, but look, they'll be coming as they always do. So let me hit my banner. See? Cleveland's in the building. Hola, hola. Hola, hola, hola. Wait, what is it that Supreme says on oh yeah, that's what she says. It's like hello. You know how RuPaul always says on Drag Race. But anyway, without further ado, let's get in excuse me. Yes, I'm going through it. I'm still under the weather. This weather has been kicking my behind. I cannot wait until this winter is over so we can all move on. Because the virus is a virusing. And, you know, with this current administration, they all want us to die, especially that idiot Kennedy that nobody acknowledges in the Kennedy household or family. You know, there's always a bastard in people's families. He's one of them. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into our first topic. And let's talk box office because Avatar Fire and Ash is continuing to smash the box office numbers. It is on this great big streak. It's already over $1 billion at the box office. Did that in like, I think, what was that? What did I say last time? 17 days? And so, yeah, it's number one again for, 4 weeks in a row. It brought in 21.3 million with 3,700 screens. And, Primate also came out this weekend, and we'll get into the numbers on that. But James Cameron, as you know, is almost single-handedly keeping cinemas afloat in the new year as Avatar Fire and Ash leads the box office for the fourth consecutive weekend, which basically means we know Avatar 4 is coming. If they're going to continue to do this, because they know these are event films. Every time these Avatar movies come out, people do watch them. So for those who say there's really no cultural impact, apparently it is, because people just can't stop going to the theater to see these films. So yeah, it generated 21.3 million from 3,700 theaters between Friday and Sunday, bringing its total to 342.6 million, excuse me, domestically, and 1.23 billion globally. Those ticket sales were twice as much as the next biggest films, including newcomer Primate and holiday holdover The Housemaid. Those two films are neck and neck for second place, with an estimated, which each that's estimated to generate 11 million over the weekend. Final tallies will be reported on Monday. So I guess we'll talk about it tomorrow, who's the winner. But for now, they're neck and neck and fighting for second place. Now, Primate appears to have the slight edge over the competition with 11.3 million from 2,964 venues in its opening weekend. Primate also earned 2.1 million internationally for a global start of 13.4 million. Moviegoers appear mixed on the $21 million budgeted film, which received a B- grade on CinemaScore exit polls. Primate follows a friend group whose tropical vacation goes awry when a nearby chimpanzee becomes violent. Paramount is distributing the film, the first from 18HZ, a new genre studio run by former DC Films, 18 Hertz, a new genre studio run by former DC Films chief Walter Hamada. And y'all already know Walter Hamada, people love him, some people hate him, because he was in charge of the whole DCEU situation, which everybody feels like went completely to shit. There are those who in the Snyderverse that's still in denial about it. And, you know, you got the hardcore fans over there, but a lot of people was pissed off at Walter Hamada, how he handled that whole situation. But before we get to the rest of the thing, I do want to give a quick review of Primate. It's funny how they were saying that it's a nearby chimpanzee. It wasn't a nearby chimpanzee. First of all, it was a group of girls. It was a girl who was coming home to see her father and her sister. The father's death. The sister was kind of mad at her because she kind of been away and I guess living her life or whatever, being a young adult and all this other stuff. I think she went away to college. I don't know if maybe I wasn't paying attention, but I don't think it was really established as to where she was or what she was doing. All of a sudden, she was on a plane with her friends. One of the girls she didn't particularly care for, but she was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna invite you to come along," because she was like the whore of the group. So he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna just invite her, whatever," because these other people, the other friend likes her. So she could just tag along or whatever, meet some guys on a plane and take their number down. And then they go home with her friends, where her father's going on a book tour and they're trying to turn one of his books into a movie. And so they're all hanging out at the house. The chimpanzee was something that the girl's mother who passed away, she was like doing some sort of thing where it was like trying to communicate with animals and that sort of thing. So he became pretty much like part of the family until there's a situation that happens where he gets bit. He gets rabies, he goes crazy, but he's afraid of water. So they established that in like the opening crawl when you see the film. But then what irritated me, because there was one sequence where it's like, oh yeah, tell him to the pool, he's afraid of the water. They spent so much of that time in the pool, and I felt like y'all were just dragging it. So that was like my only issue with it, was like there was the pacing part. Once they got in the pool, I was like, okay, so what we doing now? So that was really my only issue. But other than that, the kills were gnarly because it was R-rated. So it was like the kills, and I was like, oh, damn. Like there was a lot of wincing, a lot of ooh. And one of the things I will say is that the people that I was watching the movie with, I feel like the audience made it way more exciting than, if I would have just watched it at home by myself. So I do say, like, if you want to go see Primate, definitely go see it with, in the theater with an audience, because I feel like the audience livens it up versus, oh, I'm going to just wait for streaming and then I'm going to just sit at home. I don't feel like it'll give you the same impact. So there were parts of the movie I liked. There were parts of the movie I didn't like I said, with the pacing. Then there was situations where I'm like, okay, so there was little contradictory scenes. Y'all making it seem like this chimpanzee is strong, but it's like there was a scene where the girl was holding a big glass door closed and he couldn't open it. But then they had a scene of he jumps through the glass and breaks it. I'm like, if he's supposed to be as strong as y'all claim, he could have strong armed that broad. So, and then there were situations where off screen, and I'm sure they heard the screams in the movie, other characters were getting killed. I'm like, there's your cue to grab the keys or whatever and get up out the house, especially when what happened with the little sister and she's sitting there bleeding to death in the pool. And I'm sitting there like, bruh, there's many opportunities. Some of y'all could have got up out that goddamn pool and ran for your life or got some help or whatever the case was. And then I'm just like, there's so many dumb decisions in here. But I think maybe they were doing that because it was little like a 90-minute movie, and it was just so much you could do with that premise within that amount of time. So for them to be like, okay, well, let's make this a 90-minute movie. That's the thing I liked about it. It was an hour and a half in and out. You set the premise, you let me know what this movie was about, and then we just moved on with our business. And that's what I liked about the film versus, oh, you just trying to throw a bunch of filler and stuff up in there. Because to me, that wouldn't work. So I do say this, even though it is kind of getting mixed reviews, even though there were certain scenes in the film that frustrated me at times, I will say, go see Primate. It is a fun movie to be had, and it's simple and to the point. It's like I don't need Shakespeare when I'm not expecting Shakespeare when I go see a damn movie like Primate. I am also looking forward to seeing that 28 years later, the Bone, what is it, Bone Collector, whatever. That's what we put out next Friday. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing that. I hope it doesn't suck, even though I've heard that they're getting mixed reviews on it. So yeah, there's that. Okay, so now let's get into the rest of the box office so that we can move on. So now Lionsgate psychological thriller The Housemaid, which we already talked about, is getting a sequel, and there's a trilogy of books. So because of the success of The Housemaid, it is getting a sequel. It said it looks to take the number 3 spot with 11.2 million, has continued to draw impressive crowds. After 4 weekends of a release, the R-rated film has earned 94.15 million in North America and 192 million dollars worldwide. It's an especially great result considering The Housemaid cost just $35 million to make. So yeah, that's a hit. And to me, when you look at a movie like The Housemaid, it definitely looks like it didn't need to be expensive. It's basically a $35 million movie. One of the things that pissed me off is that somebody ruined the I don't know what it was. Oh, I think I was watching the Hot Mic, which we're going to get into when we talk about the Blade thing, but y'all did piss me off with that fucking spoiler, where they spoiled basically the twist regarding Brandon Sklenar's character and that whole, I'm like, really? Y'all had to put that in the episode? And I wasn't even expecting it. Like, y'all could have let us know if y'all were going to spoil something in the film before you mentioned it. But I guess they would just be assuming that everybody sits and just watches everything that they watch, because I haven't gotten around to watching the movie yet. So I wasn't able to see it. And I was trying to avoid spoilers as much as possible, which is why I stay away from, social media and stuff in regards to the spoilers. But then, of course, now you got to worry about dodging bullets on fucking YouTube streamers. So then also we have Zootopia 2, which dropped the fourth with 10.1 million in its 7th weekend of release. Well, look, the movie did well. It's over $1 billion. It's grossed over 1.65 billion. It's a hit, a beyond a hit for Walt Disney. So they ain't got nothing to worry about. But then, of course, we got now let's talk about the disaster sequel to Greenland 2, Migration. Funny enough, I didn't even see Greenland 1. And I like Gerard Butler. It's kind of like I like Aaron Eckhart. Like, I have a soft spot for like those straight to streaming bad movies. I don't know what it is about them, but I be enjoying some of them stuff. Like sometimes, when you at home and you just be wanting to put something on, I be enjoying them straight to streamer flicks that the script ain't all that great, but the action be killing it. So I didn't see the first Greenland, but I definitely want to check it out. And I like Morena Baccarin, so that's one of the reasons why I want to see it. Now, they said it rounded out the top 5 with 8.5 million from 2,710 locations to be exact. The original film, which is a sequel to 2020's Greenland, debuted on demand in the U.S. because of that came out around the COVID thing. But they said it became a modest hit overseas with $52 million. The sequel was produced by STX for 90 mil. Lionsgate acquired the domestic rights for 10 mil. Greenland 2, which earned a tepid B- grade on CinemaScore, follows a family who search to find a new home after a comic strike that decimated most of their planet. And I don't know. The trailers for me really wasn't doing it for me. That's why I didn't want to rush to go see it, because I did see the coming attractions in theaters. So it's just like whatever. I'll just wait for streaming or whatever. So they say this is a flat start. This is according to David A. Gross, who runs the movie consulting firm Franchise Entertainment Research. However, he adds that Gerard Butler is a well-liked action star around the world. International numbers and ancillary rental and streaming business should be good. So yeah, while it flops in the theaters, probably 2 people going to be watching it in the movie theater, and the movie theaters, people won't rush out to see it. People love Gerard Butler. So internationally, the movie will probably do well. Once it's released for rental or streaming, whatever the case is, it'll make the money back. So I don't think they're all that upset about it. Now, of course, Marty Supreme, came in 7.3 million with 2,512 theaters, declining around 38% for the prior weekend. And they said it's made past 70 million in North America, ranking as one of A24's biggest movies of all time. It cost 70 million to produce, so it already made its budget back. But now you have to think about how are they going to make back all the extra stuff, the marketing and all that other stuff. Because they said theaters get to keep roughly half of the revenues. Now, maybe what'll push the movie further is a lot of this Hollywood schmoozing that's going on, where you can have Timothée Chalamet getting all these award recognitions and all other stuff. So I feel like with that, what they'll do is, oh, Timothée Chalamet is, and then they'll be like, oh, so I need to go see what this movie is because there's so much hype around it. And don't even get me started on the argument that has been going on where Torre is getting eaten up. And I saw this video the other day, but I see a lot of pundits on social media going in on Torre, talking about he was a paid shill because he's telling you what people on the inside is saying about Timothée Chalamet versus Michael B. Jordan. If y'all ever get a chance, definitely look that video up on YouTube, because I was like, this is what people in the industry are saying. We're not talking about the career that Michael B. Jordan should have, because quiet as it's kept, Michael B. Jordan is a solid actor. He's been in a lot of good movies that I like. He does have a couple of films coming out that, to be honest, as Torre pointed out, are remakes. He has the Thomas Crown Affair, which he directed and is starring in, I believe, which is his second film he's directed besides Creed 3. That was the first movie he made. That is a pre-existing, well, it's a spinoff of a pre-existing IP, Rocky, if we're talking about Creed. And then we have Sinners, which people would say, oh, Michael B. Jordan, that's a Michael B. Jordan. No, it's a Ryan Coogler film, and which is why I've always said, if you pay attention, Ryan Coogler is in the same conversations as people like Denis Villeneuve and Christopher Nolan. This generation of directors, where they can put a movie out and people automatically go to the movies because they directed it, not because of who's starring in it. Oh, it's a plus if it's like, okay, Matt Damon's in this movie. Oh, I'm going to go see The Odyssey. Oh, and Anne Hathaway's in this movie. Oh, I'm going to go see The Odyssey. They're not going to see The Odyssey because of Matt Damon and because of Tom Holland and all these other people that's in it. They're going to see Odyssey because Christopher Nolan directed it. Trust and believe, I know. One of my closest friends is a hardcore fanatic of Christopher Nolan, loves every movie that man puts out. So he's going to go see it because of Christopher Nolan, not because of all the people in it. The actors are a plus. It's the same thing with Michael B. Jordan. Yeah, his movies make good money, but is there a original film that he has done? I know people say Sinners original movie. Yes, but Ryan Coogler directed it. So people going because of Ryan Coogler. And also, when you look at Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan, to me, they are the Leo DiCaprio and Scorsese of my generation, and for Black people, they're like the Black Scorsese and DiCaprio. Whereas Scorsese and DiCaprio, whenever they do a movie together, it does well at the box office. They've been doing movies, for years, except, of course, this movie One Battle After Another. That's a completely different director, but you know what I'm saying. So there was this whole back and forth. And plus, also people need to look at it as Timothée Chalamet being young, white, skinny, palatable to and easily marketable for the industry to push him further than a Michael B. Jordan. Because we have plenty of conversations about Michael B. Jordan, or people saying Black people can't sell films overseas, or Black people can't sell films here, there, and everywhere, which we all know is a damn lie, because there's been many of Black people who have been able to successfully sell their films in other countries. Will Smith was dominating the box office in the 90s. Last time I checked, he's Black. So while I agree wholeheartedly with everything Torre was saying, people was ready to eat him up in the well, not ready, they did. I really wish that he would have reiterated that side as well, pointed out all of the things. And that's what I've learned as being a social media commentator and doing all this other stuff. You have to check every box and point out all the things, because people be so quick to come in and misconstrue the shit you say. So I cover all my bases, because y'all ain't gonna try to get me up out in here with whatever. Oh, what you said is, and you doing microaggression, you racist, you just like, motherfucker, you don't know me. So don't sit up in here and try to accuse me of something when that's not what it is. But anyway, so what else other movies they got coming out? Because I don't care enough to keep going in on this the box office thing. That gets kind of boring after a while. But look, January, we got a lot of movies coming out. Because normally January is kind of boring. It's like 5 weeks. in January, but there'll never be nothing juicy coming out. But child, there's so many damn movies coming out. I don't know what I'm gonna do because we got 28 Years Later coming out. We got the anime All You Need Is Kill. They got Mercy with Chris Pratt, but that movie looked like basically a ripoff of Minority Report, and I don't like Chris Pratt, so I'm gonna just not go see it on account of that. We have Send Help with which is Sam Raimi's film that he has with Rachel McAdams, and oh my god, old boy from Styles from damn, why I always forget his name? Dylan O'Brien. Styles, I was gonna say Styles from Teen Wolf. I mean, he was. And then we have the Jason Statham movie Shelter, which is an action film. You know, I love me some Jason Statham. He played the same character in every damn movie, but I don't care. He beat people up for an hour and a half, and I love it. And he does it on a small budget, and his films usually do well at the box office. So I don't care. I'm gonna go see it because I love me some Jason Statham. He's not out here trying to be like Dwayne Johnson and prove I'm a thespian. It's like he did, you know, the serious acting stuff before, and then now he's doing his action stuff. He's like, I ain't got nothing to prove. I got my niche, and I'm gonna stick with it. I don't think there's other movies that's coming out in January too, but I can't think of all of those off the top of my head. But those movies look like those movies will be interesting that I want to go check out, but I don't know. I think Avatar is still going to dominate at the box office. I don't even think James Cameron and Disney and them got anything to worry about. But I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding the box office and the comments I made about Michael B. Jordan versus Timothy Chalamet? You definitely need to check out that video and just understand the whole discourse. But I just gave you the cliff notes regarding that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I want to see Primate so bad. I die every time. He said the white girls in horror movies make, yeah, and there was a lot of that. I was like, and some of them kills, I'm like, God damn. There was even one with this cute little Hawaiian boy. I was like, oof, damn, why they had it? But let me not start spoiling stuff. Oh, you said Greenland 1. I definitely need to see the first one. I haven't seen it, but I'm sure it's like on one of the streamers. I'll definitely check it out. Robert says he's late. Well, look, I be late all the time, so you're surprisingly, I was gonna say surprisingly, I was on time, but I was 5 minutes late, and that was because I had to eat something real quick because I was like, if I don't know how long this stream is gonna be, so I was like, let me go eat something, let me brush my teeth, let me take care of all the stuff, and then get up on here and do this show. All right, y'all. So now let's move on for box office. And let's talk about Blade. So, we've been wondering since, when was it? 2019, I think is when the announcement for Blade came out. When are we getting a Blade movie? So there's been a lot of stopping and starting. Even Ruth Carter, who did the costuming, who worked a lot with Ryan Coogler. I think she did a lot of, she did a lot of the costuming for the Black Panther movies, both of them. And she's been around for a long time. She's done a lot of costuming and even won Oscars for her costume design. So she had worked on some costumes for Blade, and then that whole idea, I guess they were going to take place in the 1930s. That went kaput. So Ryan Coogler had an idea for Sinners, took some of the costumes, and basically used those costumes for the movie that ended up being Sinners. And so everybody's been wondering what's been going on with Sinners. Why haven't we gotten a new Blade movie? What's going on with the movie? So apparently, according to Jeff Snyder, because he appeared on the hot mic that he does along with Roca, that's one of the, I like John Roca, but one of the main shows that I like about him is when him and Jeff Snyder come on, because they're very much unfiltered in a lot of the stuff they say, and plus they reveal a lot of interesting Hollywood scoops. So that's usually why I like to watch it, because it's entertaining. And I know this because his initial cover art and lining, it had to do with like Kathleen Kennedy has been ousted from Lucasfilm, and they're bringing in Dave Filoni and all of this. And I'm like, that headline looks a little crunchy. Nobody cares about the topics that you put in the headline. And it's no shade, I'm just saying. But then I noticed the minute they got that Blade scoop from Jeff Snyder, how fast did they go in and change the picture? They changed the heading. They changed everything, which doubled the amount of people that watched that episode. So I'm like, you ain't slick. But then again, from a marketing standpoint, that was smart. So I'm gonna give him his props on that, because I would have did the same shit. No shade. I would have did the same thing. It's like, you do what you got to do to get them eyes on the channel, because the more eyes that you get on your show, the more money you accumulate through YouTube. We know the tricks. But anyway, so he revealed on the show basically that, you know, what are we almost like 7 years in and we still haven't gotten a damn movie? So yeah, he announced on the Hot Mic podcast that Blade is dead. He said, I'm hearing Blade is dead and that it is a Midnight Suns movie. He will not be introduced in a solo movie. He'll be introduced in Midnight Suns. So with all of that being said, is like he said, and but also I should also reiterate, he said it's a rumor. He heard a rumor that Blade is dead and that they are still going to focus on a Midnight Suns movie. So we don't have any more details on it. We don't have a release for Blade. Mahershala Ali is not getting any younger. He's probably at how old is Mahershala? I think it's like what, 53, 54. By the time they get this Blade movie off the ground, he'll be 60. And to be honest, Black don't crack because the man still look good. The man still looks relatively young. So physically and facially, he could pass playing Blade because Blade don't age, right? However, if you're gonna come in and try to do all the stunts and stuff, it's like, how much will I be able to do? Because while we may feel young on the outside, trust and believe, after a while, when you start doing the workouts and the training and the hours and the stuff that goes into it, your knees be hurting, your back be killing you, you feel like you got to take an ice bath. It's a lot. And even Keanu Reeves will tell you, because Keanu Reeves is like, what, 60? He'll tell you that even doing the John Wick films, the more he started doing them, it got a little more difficult to get through the fights and stuff. And he was always in pain, but he pushed through it. And so it doesn't get easy as you get older. So, but to be honest, I definitely want this. I want a Blade movie, but if they decide to go the Midnight Suns route, I wouldn't be that upset about it, quite frankly. So according to, so Joe Blow says the rumor that the Blade movie has been scrapped and replaced by the Midnight Suns team movie comes from industry scooper Jeff Snyder, blah, blah, blah. And then John Roker said that's one way to get around all the issues they've had with trying to figure out a story for Blade. If you just put him in another movie, you don't have to struggle with his solo story anymore. And then Snyder added, I think it's just gotten to a point where, I don't think you're going to get your own movie. We can't have a 60-year-old Mahershala Ali fronting new comic book movies. So I think it's going to be Midnight Suns. First of all, so according to Joe Blow, they said he turns 52 when his birthday arrives next month. So I'm assuming next month, because if this is a new story, obviously February is when his birthday is. So he'll be 52 years old. But they said Wesley Snipes was 35 when he played the character. But here's the thing, 35 is way different than 52. 35, you still are in that age range where you can play those type of characters. Well, I'm not saying you got to be 20, because I don't know why people put so much emphasis on being a 21-year-old, 22, 20. I know youth is, and as they say in one of my favorite movies, Boys in the Band, youth is wasted on the young. So if you're in your mid 30s, to me, I feel like you're in that in between stage where it's like you're not a girl, not yet a woman. You're not young, but not old or whatever. So you're in that in between stage. I was making a Britney reference, y'all know. So you're in that in between stage where it's like you're young, but you're also a little older and wiser, and you can play all those parts. So I don't understand why they made it. They're making it a big issue that he was 35 years old, but if anything, I would just stick some people in there that could be your stunt people. Like take his face, put it on a bunch of stunt people. I mean, isn't that what Ryan Gosling did with that stunt movie that he did, The Fall Guy, where it was like a bunch of different people they put in? But anyway, also in other Blade news, the Cosmic Circus Alex Perez shared somewhat of what he's heard about Marvel Studios' original plans for Blade. Taken to X, he said, regarding the plot for the supernatural storyline, the whole point of Blade is to tell the story of Blade and the history behind Ebony Blade, so a title with two meanings. So I guess they were going to focus on Blade and Blade's daughter, which I did hear that. There was going to be a story about Blade, his daughter, and then Lilith, and all of that plays into it. So they say, and it would have provided some deep lore regarding the supernatural nature of the MCU vampires, Lilith, the underworld, and more, leading to the Midnight Suns movie. Marvel has abandoned plans, and they said, for a Blade movie set in the 20s, while another version was reportedly set to co-star Kit Harington. Whether any of these ideas make it into the next iteration, blah, blah, blah. Okay, also, Kit Harington, I recently heard spoke out because he was getting pissed at a lot of the fans because they were like, they set up a petition to redo the entire final season of Game of Thrones because y'all didn't like the writing or the outcome. And I'm sitting there like, what? Y'all seriously want them to, like, okay, so you do this petition because they think, because you know what happened with the Snyderverse and Justice League and all that other mess, That was what it was, right? That they redid. It was Justice League. I'm always trying to remember. There's a lot of stuff that goes on. I gotta push out the brain and bring it back. When they decided to do the whole, release the Snyder Cut, which technically there wasn't a Snyder Cut, they went in and reached and shot new footage for that movie. So they had to spend money to make that happen. They didn't go dig in the archives and take unreleased footage and then stitch it into the movie. They had to literally go and spend money to expand upon that story. So, they were doing that. He got pissed. It was like, the movie is the movie. Like, I mean, the show is the show. And my thing is this: if you don't like the final season of Game of Thrones, which I didn't, you move on. It's like, okay, the season was what it was. I was disappointed, but I liked the show for what it was. All the other seasons leading up to it, but that final season was crap. So why do people got to get mad and be like, we want a petition because I'm upset this show didn't turn out the way I want. So now I want them to go in and redo it. Are you gonna put up the money for the sets? Are you gonna put up the money for the actors? You gonna put up the money to rewrite the script? Like, how we doing this? That y'all don't be thinking about, like, y'all just be so caught up in your I'm upsetness that y'all don't think about the extra shit that goes into it. So now, wait, there was another thing that I knew I had in here somewhere where they were talking about. Oh yeah, so there was another scooper that decided to go against what Jack Snyder had to say regarding Blade being canceled. So James Mack, who's another who I say is a scooper, is now saying that the Blade movie is not actually canceled. He wrote on Twitter, "The Snyder is acting crazy. Blade was never not canceled." So him saying that, I'm thinking, James, I don't think you were paying attention when Jeff Snyder said, "I heard a rumor that Blade is dead and that they're going to be focusing on a Midnight Suns movie." That is what he said. He didn't say Blade is canceled. That's what everybody's running with because that's the more sensationalist headline where it's Blade's canceled. It's not happening. It's done. Mahershala moved on. We haven't heard any of this from Deadline, the Hollywood Reporter, whatever, because they got to get the say so from the studios because they're cut to them. So we haven't heard them say that yet. This is Jeff Snyder saying he's hearing rumblings within the industry that the movie was canceled. So we don't necessarily know if it's canceled or not. But to entertain this situation, I do think that maybe it should focus on a Midnight Suns movie, but the way they should do the Midnight Suns, I feel like you need to introduce those characters in the next Doctor Strange movie, because Doctor Strange is a part of the Midnight Suns. So if you can go and introduce them in that way in the third film, because they're all kind of going into the multiverse and supernatural and all that other stuff, and then at the end you brought in Charlize Theron because those wormholes were open and all this other stuff, which I feel like is going to be more. They're going to use that for Doomsday and Secret Wars and that sort of thing. So if you want with Doctor Strange, why not just do Doctor Strange 3? Take more of this dark, supernatural, demon, vampire thing or whatever, or maybe even kind of incorporate with the X-Men, with like X-Men and mutants. You can kind of have that same vibe regarding the vampires and stuff. Because that's where we're going. We're going to be introducing members of the X-Men in that world of Doomsday, because we've seen the trailer with Cyclops. So why not do that and use Doctor Strange as a launching pad for a solo Midnight Suns movie? Once you set that up, make it kind of like the Guardians version of the Supernatural with those characters. Kind of take the same vibe in regards to that, or take inspiration by having it kind of like these dark misfits, whatever. And then after that, if once you got that idea and everything situated and that film is done or greenlit, then you go and do your solo film, Blade, and any other characters you want to spin off, like Ghost Rider. We already had Moon Knight. He's a part of it because, they have Blade, they got Doctor Strange, Ghost Rider, Elsa Bloodstone, Dr. Voodoo, Wong, Moon Knight, Man-Thing. Like, there's so many other people in there. I know they also bring up that Morbius is a part of it too, but I don't know if they could be able to use Morbius because of Sony. So I don't know if that'll be able to happen because remember what Brian, I don't know why we call him Ryan Coogler said when he was talking about the last with Black Panther Wakanda Forever. He said he was trying to use I think he said he was trying to use Morbius or whatever at one point in his script. And Fox was like, no. So Fox is gonna be stink with their characters. Let them have more because we already saw what they did with that damn character. So excuse me. So that's all we have on this story right now. I will definitely keep you guys abreast of this story upon further developments. But I say all this to say to you, what do you guys think of this story? Are you disappointed over this news that we won't be getting a Blade solo film? I mean, it's a rumor for now, so who knows? They may be coming down the road. I think MCU need to come and address this. But I guess who knows? Maybe they'll bring this up around the time when we get closer to Avengers Doomsday promotions and all that other stuff. Because they already started promoting the hell out of this movie at the top of the 2026. So maybe we'll get some more insight into this, and maybe Jeff will address this on the next episode of the Hot Mic, because I'm sure he's aware of what the streets are saying in regards of going against his comments regarding the Blade being dead, and other pundits in the industry calling around saying, "No, he's not dead. What the hell's wrong? He lost his marbles." So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Scream 7 fans are freaking out for promo. I'm like, Spyglass is back into a corner. What more promo do they want? I feel like the next promos will probably get, I mean, who knows? We might get a second trailer, but you were saying that you don't think they will get a second trailer because you feel like if they put out another trailer, it's going to reveal too much. Which is why I say in the beginning, when we was talking about Scream 7, they started making all those announcements that Dewey's back, then you got the Romans coming back, and then you got Stu and all these other people. That was Spyglass panicking because of all the Melissa Barrera controversy. And I am so glad that, you know what, now that we're here in this moment and the Scream's about to come out in a month, that I was proven right yet again. I'm a soothsayer. I read the tea leaves, and I saw it that it was going to happen this way, and that's exactly what's happening. It's the fact that y'all backed yourselves in the corner. Why'd y'all have to go and spoil all these people that's going to be in the movie? Because you want to, oh, we're going to do this like greatest hits thing. We're going to let you know all these people is in the movie, so that way we can get all the people online, the critical overlords, the we watcher movies, and who's all the drum dumbs. You know, I'm gonna name all the hard people I watch. And who the Killjoy Jakes and all of those. When you get all these people coming in with their speculations to get them all riled up, and the people on social media, but you still got those haters that's going to be all over social media who are like, "Justice for Melissa," and they want to spoil everything regarding this whole situation. So, if they back themselves in a corner, they should have thought about, like, once this script is done and we got all these great ideas, now the next part, how do we market it? How do we come out with a multitude of trailers to throw people off the set and not give too much away? But at this point, I feel like we live in a time where people don't even care if they get spoiled with stuff. People just want to know the plot, or people want to know what a lot of stuff is about. And then they be like, you know what? Now that I know what the movie's about and what's gonna, all the other detail, the as much detail as I want to know, it still hasn't turned me away from wanting to watch the film. But when it comes down to, but that's different. It's when it comes down to Scream, it's like it's all about, you got to keep as much of it under wraps as possible because you want to go in and have that whole Scooby Doo. Let's figure out the whole mystery of it all, and try to avoid getting stabby. Can I say thank you to Bruno Mars for giving me, and you ain't done shit for your whole life. But yeah, because a lot of people get mad at him because he out here reheating his own, well, quiet as kept, he's reheating James Brown nachos. But he's reheating his own nachos on top of James Brown nachos. Like, you literally ain't evolved your sound. Because you do a lot of that live music, big band type of stuff. You could have evolved your sound within the last decade. But Bruno gonna be safe and do Bruno. Magical Mermaids in the building. Perhaps Disney got too big with Marvel and Star Wars. They've fucked up Star Wars. When it comes to the Star Wars conversations, I still don't care about that franchise because I'm like, I haven't liked the movie from them in a long time. Except, I mean, I liked Andor, but for the most part, whenever they come out with Star Wars stuff, I just don't care because I just be disappointed with a lot of the stuff that they put out. They want a space station without having a reliable. Just though says hello. I love the last season of Game of Thrones. I don't even remember the last season of Game of Thrones, so I can't even like speak on it. That's how that's how long ago it was. I think it's fine for now that Blade doesn't have a solo film because there's still plenty of room for them to figure that out later. And also, I think at this point, just recast because yeah, you're gonna do a Blade, Midnight Suns, whatever. But I think it's time to recast the role. But I feel like MCU backed themselves, Kevin Feige and them backed themselves into a corner. Y'all prematurely announced Mahershala Ali and Blade, and y'all didn't have no idea how they were going to work this whole thing out. Even Dave Goyer, who wrote all three of the original Blade films, Blade 1, Blade 2, Blade Trinity, said he would even offer his expertise, but nobody's called. So I don't know what's going on with them. I think they're trying to figure out how they're going to make Doomsday and Secret Wars. They're trying to course correct with that. I think people need to look at independent voters. Zateo spilled that the Democrats' playbook was to make Trump look anti-war and reveal the truth slow. Oh, please. I'm so over the Democrats and their bullshit. And also, um, Hakeem Jeffries and all of those, and Elise Slotkin and all of that. But I'm realizing I feel like in 2026, I'm going to make this show less political. Like, I will use my social media platforms to put all the political stuff on there. But I feel like with this show, unless it spills into the entertainment news realm, like when we talk Skydance and Netflix and Warner Brothers and that whole deal, and Trump trying to stick his uh hooves in that whole situation, I feel like that's what I want to save that for. I want to make this show light. I want to make this show fun. Because last year it was too damn heavy. And I feel like at this point, I'm windmilling out here by myself in a lot of ways. So I don't want to be stressing myself out going on whole tangents about how much I don't like this president and the issues I got with the Democrats and all the mess. Unless it has to do with, or when Michael annoying ass Rappaport make comments about Zoran, or when we have a situation coming up later when Matt Rogers and that old Asian slanted eyed parrot going up there, you know, making all that damn peanuts conversation regarding Jasmine Crockett. Yeah, I can say that shit about Bowen because I am part Asian, so I can say that. When you go up and you start saying blanket mess about a candidate in Texas, which is a hard state to flip, by the way, blue. Um, then we go and we're gonna get political on this show. But for the most part, I feel like in the future, I don't want to make this a political heavy show because I ain't trying to get a lot of gray hairs. I already got some in my beard. I ain't trying to get no more. And speaking of which, I think I saw Funky Dineva do this the other day. He would use like one of those beard coloring things where it's like you brush it into your beard. I was like, oh, I want to try that and see how it make me look. Because I don't want to hear everyone, oh, it's like you change your beard. You trying to look young. I still do look young. It's just I want to see how it works. But I'll be wondering because I'll be doing this during the show, and what my fear is that I get on my hands. Kind of like remember that scene for the Real Housewives of New Jersey when Juicy Joe and Joe Gorga got into a fight. And Joe Gorga was putting like it looked like shoe polish in his hair to cover up that bald spot. And Joe was like, what the all his black stuff was all over his child. Joe was up in here coloring his scalp because he was trying to hide that bald spot. And him getting in that fight, it basically just clocked his teeth. So now he goes around, shaves the head, which luckily he has a nice shaped head, so he can get away with it. And that's a good thing. He says, side note, but I really want to talk about this. Indy wins best performance at the Astra Awards first. Wait, he did? Oh, I didn't hear about that, but congratulations. You know, I do love that movie, Good Boy, and that dog was definitely a great actor. He acts better than Dwayne Johnson. The metaverse hurt Blade. Well, there's a lot of things that hurt Blade, but I'll say mainly the MCU. My arm's too short. No, your arm's too short in the box, but yes, God. Don't forget to bring the Tina Fey clip. Is there a Tina Fey clip? Hold on. Let me look it up. Or was it Bowen Gang that she mentioned? Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. I don't know if this is a clip though. Let me see. I don't know if that's it. But they're saying Tina Fey told Bowen Yang and Matt Rogers almost 2 years ago to keep it hush and keep it cute. She told Matt he had, is that it? He had about a year, but they laughed it over because they could not recognize good advice now that they're getting. Oh, so thank you, honey. Somebody brought, wait, hold on. Somebody brought it up. Wait, why is it no? Okay, I was like, why is it not pausing? Okay, well, I'll leave it here, and then we'll figure it out when we get to that when we cross that bridge. Hopefully, I can get the clips running the way I need it to run. Wait, hold on. What is that? Oh, I got it. I'll put it here because now I almost forgot about that. So maybe that was the clip. Hold on a second. Okay. So, all right. We good. I got it. I got it. Not Avalon the Gray. I like my grays. I said I use waterproof mascara. Yeah, and then what he was saying was use brown or use black. Because yeah, I do agree. When people do like the jet black, it make you look crazy. It was like that is not your natural hair. So to make it color, so you like use brown. Brown seems more realistic versus black. She said Bowen Yang will get gassed up by Ariana Grande and SpongeBob. Helen Mirren got the seven. Was it Hell? No, it wasn't Helen Mirren. I was about to drag her. Was she the one that made that comment about Harvey Weinstein? No, that wasn't her. That was Judy Dench, who I think is starting to lose all her damn marbles. They sure are. Black henna. Well, I'm glad you black henna over black hentai. Anyway, let's move on. And let's talk about Buffy. So, Sarah Michelle Gellar recently did an interview talking about this new show, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and all the other stuff what is going on. You already know that they developed a new series. They filmed the pilot along with, well, Eternals and Hamnet director Chloe Zhao is behind, which Hamnet is getting all the raves and all the award nominations and all this stuff right now. So this might be a great time in regards of like getting this Buffy reboot off the ground or whatever the case is. Even though Sarah Michelle Gellar says it's not necessarily a reboot, but according to, so we'll get into exactly how she explains it. So Hulu has ordered the pilot. We don't even know if there's a full series ordered. So, as y'all know, Buffy the Vampire Slayer ended with Sunnydale collapsing into the Hellmouth Cavern. Buffy Summers saved the day and realized that the burden of being the one chosen Slayer was no longer on her shoulders, making it a mostly happy ending for the character. Still, fans have been left to wonder how the upcoming sequel series, now confirmed by Gellar to be titled Buffy the Vampire Slayer New Sunnydale, will pick up where the original show ended. First of all, that title's too damn long, but whatever. They said it's widely believed that the spotlight is going to shift to Buffy's daughter, played by Ryan Kira Armstrong. So they're trying to say that this is her daughter, but it hasn't been confirmed as her daughter. But then again, if you look at Ryan Kira Armstrong, she definitely looks like she could be a young, ingenue above you. Hold on, let me because I don't know why I didn't think about this earlier. It always comes to me at the last damn second to put the photo up so that way y'all can see. In case you can't remember, because I was looking at it, I was like, you know what? When you think about it, I can see why I don't know why it didn't dawn on me. Dawn on me. No pun intended. Why it didn't dawn on me that it's a possibility the reason why they cast Ryan Kira Armstrong to be the new Slayer, whatever the case is because they were looking for somebody who has similarities to who could possibly be a younger Sarah Michelle Gellar. And In my opinion, I think it would actually work if they kind of did like, oh, they passed it on to the kid that she would get to play, she would take on the role, and then uh we'll see how Buffy tries to navigate dealing with the slayer is of it all, the slayer of it all, slayerism, whatever. I'm trying to think of a word. The slayeration of it all. It's gonna come to me eventually. And then dealing with a teenager, being a mother, and dealing with a child who also slays vampires because mama once upon a time did the same thing. So them having that in common and trying to deal with a teenager, you already know how teenagers are when they get to be a certain way and how they treat and how they deal with their parents. I think that'd be an interesting twist because Joyce couldn't even go out and do slayering with her daughter. So her not being able to understand what that was at the time makes it for an interesting situation if that is the way that they're planning on going. So she went on to say it's not a sequel, it's not a reboot, it's a continuation. This is what she confirms in a video via fearhq.com, adding that the new Sunnydale will address where Buffy is now in this world and what is this world that Buffy lives in with her and without her. She also added, it's not a reboot. It's not picking up with all of the same characters right away. It's not like a sequel. That's why the name was even important to me. Buffy New Sunnydale. It's Buffy, but it's also something else. Well, I hope that they call it Buffy New Sunnydale. Trim the fat. Call it Buffy New Sunnydale. Don't put Buffy the Vampire Slayer New Sunnydale. Like, that's too much. That's a mouthful. We want to get to the point. Or just call it New Sunnydale. But I guess because you need to incorporate Buffy and there needs to be that reference point, they're going to keep that in there. So now Gellar went on to admit that she's had to eat her words about a potential Buffy revival and said, I never saw how and why it could be as good as the original series. I'm not trying to be better. I just want to hold and honor the memory and what we created. I know sometimes the memory is conflicted for people about how they're supposed to feel about it, but a lot of people put their blood, sweat, and tears into making what I think is an incredibly great show, and I'm incredibly proud of it. And what she has to realize is that, a part of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer is a part of my childhood. I grew up as a kid loving that show and resonating with a lot of the storylines that was in it because it was like, what's it like growing up as an awkward kid, and the metaphors where they would use monsters and like how humans could be like these real life monsters and using that all as a metaphor and that sort of thing, and losing your virginity and dealing with bullies in school and an asshole principal, whatever. Like there was a lot of things that was in that show that just resonated, I think, with a lot of myself and my generation. So we wholeheartedly loved the show. And I think maybe Sarah Michelle Gellar couldn't see it because she was in it. And now she's a woman of a certain age. She's, on the later side of 40. She understands it. And I think once you hit your 40s, you totally start to see things from a different perspective than when you were young. And you're just like, we made this great show. We want to keep it, as great as it was. We don't want to go in and start messing with things because, a lot of times they revive shows and the shows turn out to be crap. And so I can totally understand like why she'd be hesitant in that way. But like I always say, if somebody who loves the show as much as I did grows up, comes in with an idea and is like, what, I have this great idea. I want to present it to you. See what you think. We wrote a script. We have the character ideas, all this other stuff. What do you think? And then it's like, okay, this sounds actually pretty good. I read the script. It looks great. Let's go. Let's see if we can get it done. And now I come on as an executive producer and the rest is history. So I'm looking forward to this show whenever it comes out. And also, I'm actually looking forward to seeing, because we did mention on the show, Sarah Michelle Gellar is going to be a judge on the new Star Search that's coming. I think it starts this week, right? I think on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. So, oh wait, they moved it. I think it's the 19th. So it's the following week, I think it's around that time. So, I'm actually looking forward to this. And Sarah's busy because she got Ready or Not 2. Then she's doing, she's got Star Search. She's got Buffy. It's like, this girl is, this is like a career renaissance. Because I remember at one point she was like, we ain't heard a month of Sundays from Sarah Michelle Gellar. And now all of a sudden she's everywhere. Oh, and I forgot to mention this because they were talking about, okay, what's been taking so long with the show? So they asked, as for where things stand with the series now, she said that they're still working on that, why and how. I think this seems like it's taking a long time, and it's because unless we are sure that it is exactly what we set out to do, and it makes sense to do it, we don't want to sell you the legacy by not. When I know it's perfect, then it will be out there, but I won't do it unless I know it could be that. So they're just working out all the kinks, trying to make sure that all the scripts and everything is working out the way they want to work it out. And we'll see from there. But I'd rather y'all take y'all time and figure out what needs to be done. Don't take Blade. Don't take it about as long as they take it with Blade. That's another vampire situation. We trying to get up off the ground, and we still waiting damn near a decade for that to happen. But don't take that long. Just take all this time right now while she's doing Star Search or whatever. Y'all can work out the kinks, and hopefully, what can happen is we can have Buffy the Vampire Slayer shooting this summer, and then by the fall, we can have it out for people to watch. I think it said it's going to Hulu, so we can have it ready to go by the fall on Hulu, and then the kids will have something to watch. The next generation, as well as us nostalgia fans, can come back and watch, and we'll all just be one big happy Sunnydale family. So the show, they basically said the log line is, it's about a girl named Nova who's a 16-year-old bookworm discovers she's a vampire slayer in a rebuilt Sunnydale split between gritty old Sunnydale and upscale new Sunnydale. During Vampire Weekend, a festival celebrating the town's dark past, vampires Jack and Shirley emerge from a construction site, killing a teen and planning a ritual to raise a vampire army at a cursed circle. So that sounds really, really interesting, and I'm looking forward to it. So I definitely want to hear from y'all regarding this story. What do you think of this latest news regarding this Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot? I say I'm here for it. I don't want to rush y'all. I want to make sure y'all get everything right before we start jumping on anything and be like, well, the pilot was good, but the rest of the season sucks. It's like, take your time, figure out what y'all want to do, have an idea of how you want to set the beginning, the middle, and the end of the first season. Once y'all hit that out the park, then we can just worry about all the seasons ahead. But I hope they have some idea on how they want to bring this show to an end, like eventually how long they want the seasons to last. We'll just have to see in regards to that. But just get this shit off the ground first. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Oh, it's that podcast. Oh, wait, I read that one already. I think the era is ready. Madonna updated her social media and streaming platform images. I think we're getting ready. Breaking news: Queen is back. The photos are easy to see. She gave us the photos. I was like, wait a minute, because I didn't know anything about that. Let me go to Instagram and see what everybody's talking about. I am so sick of fucking ICE. I really am. ICE tackles and arrests a peaceful and unarmed demonstrator. It needs to come a point where y'all need to start punching these fucking ICE agents in the goddamn face. That's what needs to start happening. What's going to happen is y'all going to start pounding these people, and they ain't going to like it. Why do I have the first thing I do is when I open my damn thing, I got to see ICE acting a damn fool. Hold on, where am I going? Oh, Donta. I saw Hope Giselle was alive. I got a clip from her where she went in on Matt Rogers and them. Oh, I see the picture. And then she got the updated Dolce and Gabbana stuff. I actually like the director's cut of the video that she has up. The director's cut is way better than I thought the original version of what they did. So yeah, I see the picture. I'm trying to remember, where was this photo taken? Was that when she went to where did she go? Where'd she go? To Saudi Arabia during the New Year? Yeah, so I see like a lot of people's talking about the updates, but look, we should be getting new music soon, so I'm looking forward to that. But I think that'll probably be around February, March. Yes, that much more preferred to a reboot anyway, a continuous story as well. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I like if you kind of continue on from like where we left off. Well, not left off, but it's like, okay, so where's everybody been in the past 20 plus years? And who would still be in this new Sunnydale, whatever they're going to call it? Well, who's in the new Sunnydale? Are some of the characters originally there? Do people move away? Like, it'll be interesting to see that. Like, did Willow stay in town? Is Xander dead? Like, what's going on? Yeah, she looks like her. She could be her daughter or kin. I don't even think they should have Buffy name in it. It's not, yeah. But I think the only reason why they're keeping it in there is because Buffy is the name that people are familiar with. So I think that's the only reason why they're keeping it that. Oh, Buffy, familiarity. Let me check this out. I remember that show. It's a reboot. No, it's a continuation. Well, thank you, Robert, for becoming a YouTube member. Oh yeah, I did set up memberships on YouTube. It's funny how I didn't tell y'all that. I was like, yeah, I started setting up members. Look, a bitch needs some coins. So I gotta start setting up memberships and things. And you said Chris can go back to childhood now. Sure can. And you said, don't forget to say booger sugar and bologna wash. Haven't heard me. Well, somebody gotta be snorting that booger sugar for me to be out here saying it. The brand. Yeah, that's what it is, all about branding. That's why they kept the name as it is. Okay, so now where we going? Oh, let's get into this tea. Let's talk about Yolanda Adams. So the other day, we went up in here talking about these old church queens that's going around doing all kinds of scandalous things and condemning homosexuals when they full on faggots themselves. So then we had Yolanda Adams recently did an interview with Clay Kane. I almost forgot his damn name. With Clay Kane, where he basically talked about gays in the church or homophobia in the church. And her overall opinion of it surprised the hell out of me. But in regards to that, it made me like her even more. So hold on a second while we pull up this clip and we're going to come back and talk. Please.
A lot of LGBT folks, friends who are in the church and they love the church and they love that space. And you have never used your religion, your faith to hurt people. There are plenty of LGBT folks in the Black church.
Absolutely. And have been, listen, I am 64 years old. I have seen everything in the church.
Yes.
And again, it has everything to do with the way you were nurtured. My family nurtured us to believe and know that everyone that gets to this earth got here because they are God's children. And why would you want to ever hurt anything that God loves? I have cousins, I have friends, I have dear, dear friends in and out of all music and arts and sports genres. And I never looked at them as anything other than beautiful people. And it is not my job ever to hurt anyone or debase anyone because of who they are. God is not surprised by anyone he created. He knew who you would be before your mom and dad even got together. So why am I disrespecting what God respects and loves? Period.
I have a lot of.
Now, if that ain't a word, I don't know what to tell you, because here's the thing. What I don't understand is, why can't we have more people that particularly think like Yolanda Adams does in regards to what she had to say? I kind of wish there were more people, because we always tend to hear more or less from the people that condemn homophobia, that look down their nose at people that come up in the church. You want people to come as they are. You want people to show up and worship the Lord and all this other stuff. But y'all be some of the most judgmental ass people in the damn church and be doing the most sinful things once y'all leave. So I don't understand like why people be so negative. But here you have someone who's been in the church, that has been indoctrinated in the church, who speaks, who is like on the same level as them Donnie McClurkins and that fat bitch, the one who heels be fighting for their life whenever she put her feet in them. Wasn't it Kim Burrell and all of them, when they be coming up in there saying all that stuff, that hate was up with quiet as it's kept. I heard that Kim Burrell part of that celluloid closet club. And wasn't she married to a man once upon a time that left her for another man? So we out here throwing stones, and you need to be looking at your own self. But I love the fact that we have somebody like Yolanda Adams who's come in and said, like, you know what? I know many people in the church. There've been gays that have been in the church since the dawn of time. since before speech replaced sign language, but people get so caught up in all the bigotry and the hatred that is spewed by these people talking about you know, being effeminate and liking men and stuff, you going to hell and you don't want to be around these sissies and all this other stuff. Who that old lady that looked like she was aging every time she was going in on the gays? I forgot her name. But yeah, so I just love the fact that we have somebody who comes out and says this. And to me, when I hear someone like a Yolanda Adams comes out and make these type of comments, this is what makes me like that brings me into the people of like, you know what, there is hope out there for people who truly are, you know, LGBT, but want to have that connection with God and want to have that connection with, you know, the religious aspect. But this is why I always say, like, for me, I'd rather take a more spiritual path than a religious path, because a lot of times it's hard to try to find that space within the church that loves you for you and comes in as not judgmental because you are different. So shout out to Yolanda Adams. I did see some people in the comments, they was like, emotional, I think they meant emotional intelligence is so necessary for this world to move forward and grow. Thank you, Yolanda. Thank you, because she's so far one of the very few in the church that got some kind of intelligence. So it's good to hear somebody who said that. Another person said, no Yolanda Adams slander will be tolerated. It sure won't be. And another person said, this is why we love Auntie Landa. Or Londa, sorry. So yeah, we need more people like her that think like her and aren't afraid to speak out in regards of, you know, yeah, I'm in the church and I'm not going to sit about here and judge and condemn, because as y'all said, didn't y'all say God makes no mistakes? I mean, Lady Gaga wrote a whole song about it. It don't make no damn mistake, because we was all born this way, right? So if you were born the way you were born and God makes no mistakes, he is very much well aware of homosexuals. It's just the fact that y'all want to sit and cherry pick bullshit in that man-made book of fables called the Bible and want to pass it off as fact and truth and all this other stuff. When quiet as it's kept, a lot of you people that like to cherry pick shit out the Bible, y'all don't be following everything, because I've been seeing some of you same bitches out here mixing fabrics and eating that goddamn shellfish, because there'll be a lot of you homophobes that be up in there in that damn Red Lobster and that damn nasty ass shrimp and oysters. So I definitely want to hear from y'all regarding this topic. And like they said, there will be no Yolanda Adams slander on his damn channel. You will get cussed the fuck out. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, y'all. So now let's move on. And since we were talking about Scream earlier, let's talk about one of our girls who Scream, and that will be Rose McGowan. So Rose McGowan, as you know, has had a great career. She liked this really good interview the other day where it was on, what was it called? The We Need to Talk podcast. That podcast was like 2.5 hours. Spilled a lot of tea. She talked about her relationship with Marilyn Manson. She talked about things regarding and then her, that outfit that she wore at the VMAs where her whole ass was out. She talked about that and why she wore the outfit that she wore. She talked about being on Charm, which we're going to get into that topic in a minute. She talked about Harvey Weinstein. She talked about a lot of things. So if you ever get a chance, definitely check out Paul C. Brunson's We Need to Talk podcast. It dropped on, seemed like the most busiest day that we've had this year. Because remember the other day on the show, we talked about January 6th and so many things came out on that day. Well, that episode actually came out on January 6th. So she actually got on the thing and she talked about when she was on Charmed and how she was treated, especially in regards of her weight. She said she thinks they were inspecting their product. That's why a lot of the executives will pull her aside and basically look at her to make sure that she kept her body right and tight. So she said that that behavior back then was treated as completely fine. Yes, it was. And that's why when people look back and like, I'm appalled and I can't believe that they would be doing something. Look, people need to realize in the 90s and the 2000s especially, there's a lot of things y'all will look at today as problematic was seen as completely normal. Whenever we would bring up things about all the stuff that we would see on America's Next Top Model, or you would see things on Flavor of Love and a lot of those reality shows, which was exposing like some of the horrendous things that they were putting people through and how that screwed with people's psychological situation. When you look at it now, it's like, yeah, that was hella problematic. But then back then, it was seen as normal. And sitting there making sure that girls remained a size 0 when you had to have a bobblehead and a 26-inch waist that was seen as normal. So, as y'all probably already know, she played Paige Matthews for 5 seasons of Charmed, the WB fantasy series about San Francisco sisters who have secret supernatural powers. Say that 10 times. There was a lot of S's in that sentence. It was produced by Aaron Spelling and Brad Kern, among others. Charmed ran from 98 to 2006 and originally starred Shannon Doherty, may she rest in peace, Holly Marie Combs, and Alyssa Milano as a trio of do-gooding witches. Doherty, who played Prue Halliwell, left the show after 3 seasons. McGowan was introduced as half-sister Paige in season 4. She had previously made her mark in Edgy Affair, having starred in Scream in 96, Devil in the Flesh in 98, and Jawbreaker in 99. Now, during her interview with Brunson, McGowan recalls the pressure to tone down her style and appear so mainstream amid her Charmed run. She said, I knew the knives would be out, referencing to the aftermath of Doherty's departure, that the fans would want the person, the other character that they loved. To endear herself to those viewers, McGowan decided to base my character kind of on I Love Lucy, Lucille Ball. What if she was young and in this situation just kind of lovable, that kind of goofy and soft? I pitched my voice higher and be non-threatening because I was scary to people. Now, prior to Charmed, I would express myself if I ever had to go to an event or do my own makeup, things like that. And then during the whole period when I was on that show, it all changed. All of a sudden, you had to have a stylist. You had to pay $6,000 a month to a stylist. Now, McGowan says stylists will reject clothes she wanted to wear, telling her that's too editorial, meaning that's too edgy and fashion. She said that she selected outfits that were more red carpet, and then they put globs of makeup on her and giant helmet hair. After the show ended, McGowan said her and Doherty forged a friendship. In August of 2024, a month after Doherty died of cancer at 53, McGowan guest hosted her podcast, Let's Be Clear. She said, if I had any regrets, I wish I would have gotten to know her sooner. Adding, we were really pitted against each other. I was just told she was fired and nobody talked about her. She also said that she refused to speak badly about Doherty when she joined Charmed in her place. She said they wanted me to start a war with her, and I was like, absolutely not. I would not start a war with her. And to her credit, she absolutely did not do that either. Now, McGowan said the biggest misconception about Doherty was that she was hard, but at the same time, it was the truth. But it's not who she was natively. And I would say that was the biggest misconception about me as well. We both just like to laugh soft underneath it all. And it's probably because of their background, their upbringing, a lot of shit they had to deal with. It's like you have to form a hard exterior. You can't just come in and just be like, you can't be doing all that and just being all soft and pink all the time. Because the minute people see you being all giggly and googly moogly and stuff, they take advantage of that. So you got to come in with that hard exterior, but underneath it all, you soft and pink. So I totally get that. And the fact of the matter was, I love the idea that they didn't go back and forth and start a beef with each other because it wasn't necessary. It's like, okay, so y'all fired this girl for whatever reason, probably because she was voicing her opinion a lot on some of the things that y'all wanted to be done on Charm, which we've heard conversations about this from Holly Marie Combs. And even when Shannon was close to death, she was spilling tea about a lot of the grievances she had to deal with behind the scenes on that show. So I totally understand like why she was hesitant in a lot of ways and the way that she was reacting, and people was kind of feeling like, no, well, we're coming up with the ideas and we're doing this, so you just need to go along with it because we say so. And it's like, as an actor, I'm pushing back on some of this shit. I'm not going to sit up here and just be your blank canvas and just go with whatever. And then you bring in this new girl, and now you want me to start fighting with this actress who I don't really know all that well. So I'm not going to start a beef with somebody that I don't have beef with because y'all want to create whatever it is y'all want to create to get more eyes on the show. And don't get me wrong, I liked Rose McGowan on Charmed. I didn't think she hurt the show in any way. She did what she could do because that's what she was paid to do. So she was there to do a job. I blame more or less the people that worked behind the scenes on the mess they was doing with that show. And like I said before, definitely check out the interview because Rose McGowan definitely spilled a lot of tea in that. And listen to her talk. It was quite refreshing to hear like all the stuff that she was spilling about the industry. And hopefully she'll still be able to maintain work. Or maybe she's not even interested in coming back to acting. I don't know. So let me know what you guys think in regards of all of this regarding Rose McGowan. in the comments, and also let me know if you actually watched the episode that I'm referring to. So yeah, let me know all that stuff in the comments down below. Ooh, that wasn't what I was doing. Britney was going to be the next story. I went and pulled up her picture by accident. All right, y'all. Onyx is in the room. How you doing? He said, I love that she and Shannon ended up bonding. Alyssa was toxic. It's obvious in the show. Rose's character, Paige, was amazing. Yeah, and look, based off of what they were saying, a lot of people didn't like Alyssa Milano on the show. I do think her ego got a bit too big for its britches when she was on that show. And remember, wasn't at one point, was Alyssa the one that was trying to take credit for the Me Too movement, or was it somebody else? You said, which episode was it again? I've seen all of them, LOL. And I love that this is a Buffy and Charmed heavy live tonight. It's like my teens. Excuse me. Are you talking about the show that I was referring to? The one that Rose McGowan and the podcast? Child, just that quick, I forgot. You're probably gonna have to rewind and remember the podcast, because it's funny, like I'll read an article and I'll remember the podcast, but I am horrible with names. All right, so now let's move on. Oh, you said I think people are realizing that Britney found a way to do her RCA contracts and might be the third artist to do Brazil. Oh yeah, because we did hear the rumors that she'll be doing that what is that, the guy that did, well, I'll bring it up in the next topic. All right, now since we was talking about Britney, let's get into some Britney tea. So Britney Spears took to social media to formally announce that she will never perform in the United States due to sensitive reasons. And the funny enough, because I could have sworn that Britney has told us in the past that she had no interest in ever performing again. So I don't know why she's back on letting us know. Is this one of those dementia moments, kind of like Donald Trump getting up in the middle of a meeting about oil at the White House and goes to the window? Talking about how beautiful the view was, and I'm like, okay, that's a dementia moment. Literally, I kid you not, that was a dementia moment. But and y'all know all the signs. So even if you maggots want to be in denial about it, oh well, continue to be in denial. But in regards to this whole Britney situation, I felt like we've heard this from her before. So Britney wrote in a lengthy Instagram post on Thursday night that she will never perform in the U.S. She said never ever getting back together with the United States to perform live on a stage for extremely sensitive reasons. The singer shared a throwback photo of herself sitting beside a white Yamaha piano, writing in the I think that was the piano she said she gave to her son, writing in the caption, sending this piano to my son this year. Interesting enough, I dance on IG to heal things in my body that people have no idea about. Yep, and it's embarrassing sometimes, but I walk through the fire to save my life. Although Spears ruled out any future performances in the US, she teased the possibility of performing in the UK and Australia, writing, I will never perform in the US again because of extremely personal reasons, but I hope to be sitting on a stool with a red rose in my hair in a bun performing with my son in the UK and Australia very soon. Spears continued, he's a huge star, and I'm so humbled to be in his presence. Godspeed, little man. Well, here's the thing. Does her son actually do music? And is he like in a band, or is he doing solo music? Like, is he the new Somber? Is he the next Benson Boone? Like, I want to know, like, what, I don't know much about, I mean, I know like we've seen videos of him online and he's playing the piano and he's playing instruments, whatever the case is. And we see Britney posting those videos up, but like, is he kind of like taking it seriously, like Madonna's son, David Bando, who's been making music and in a studio and recording and wanting to do the music thing? But if she wants to do UK and Australia, I'm not mad about that. I mean, first of all, quiet as it's kept, I honestly do not feel like the American audience appreciates Britney Spears. I mean, she's got fans here, but I don't feel like America appreciates her. I do feel like that a lot of our media and a lot of conglomerates and a lot of people are very harsh on her. If she were to go to the UK and Australia and perform overseas, she could definitely be way more, because to be honest, audiences overseas appreciate Britney more so than Americans. I be feeling like a lot of y'all be fickle as hell. I don't appreciate real talent when it comes over and performs they ass off. Like, one of the things, prime example, I watched, even though I feel like every year it's terrible, New Year's Rocket Eve with Ryan Seacrest. I actually watched the Robin performance. Y'all don't know how bad I was seething watching that performance, because Robin was doing her damn thing. First of all, kudos to you for performing in that cold ass weather. But number two, when the people were sitting out there and the way y'all were reacting to her performance, I'm like, she's giving you bop. She's giving you real good quality electronic pop music. And y'all just standing there like y'all fucking dead in 20-degree weather. It was pissing me off. So I'm like, fuck y'all. Y'all don't deserve her. And she got a better reception when she took her behind to Brooklyn to perform for that audience. So the hipster Brooklyn types appreciate her more so than that tight ass audience over there on ABC. So that was kind of pissing me off. And I feel like if Britney comes and does stuff for us, y'all won't appreciate it. So girl, go off and do your thing where you are going to be over wherever you decide overseas. And then it was a story that came out that the guy that put together the Madonna Rio show and the Lady Gaga Rio show recently started following Britney. So she may be the next one to possibly, I don't think it'll be this year, or maybe it would, who knows? But she may be in the running, rumor mill, I'm putting this as a rumor. She may be signing up to want to do a show out in Rio, like Madonna and Gaga did. And I'm sure there was other people. Oh, Katy Perry, didn't she do one too? A show out there in Brazil? So I could definitely see Britney getting up there doing that. And I definitely feel like with the dancing or whatever, now that she's no longer part of that conservatorship, she could really get into like getting out there and getting her dancing shoes back on and really getting in the pocket of the choreography. You don't have to be like, well, I was dancing lazy because it was my way of rebelling against my father and the conservatorship. You're no longer in the conservatorship, so there's no excuses. You can't use that as an excuse no more. So now Spears did not specify which son she was referring to in the post. She shared, well, I don't think she was talking about Sean Preston because that boy be paying her ass dust. So she probably talking about Jaden. Now, Spears performed live in the U.S. in October of 2018, closing out her Piece of Me tour with a final show at the Formula One Grand Prix in Austin, Texas. She had been scheduled to return to Vegas in 2019 for that residency Domination, following the success of her first residency, Britney Spears' Piece of Me, which concluded in 2017. However, she ultimately postponed the Domination show and stepped away from performing indefinitely due to family matters, saying, I don't even know where to start with this because this is so tough for me to say. I will not be performing my new show, Domination. I've been looking forward to the show and seeing all of you this year, so doing this breaks my heart. However, it's important to always put your family first. Well, she says that, but then didn't it come out later on that the Domination thing, she really didn't want to do the tour. Her father was forcing her to do it, and that's when all the conservatorship was really starting to ramp up. So I don't know. That was like the PR apology to the fans. But I think that she didn't want to do that damn tour because her father was making her do all of that. And what I don't understand is if you are someone who they say got all these mental disorders, how she got good enough sound mind to get up there and perform like a goddamn show pony? So another thing I feel like is I understand why she's rebelling so much is because the one thing that she loved, which is performing and getting up there singing, dance, being a performer, it was ruined by her greedy ass parents. That no good ass bastard, Justin Timberlake, yeah, he's still getting a lashing because he used their relationship and he used everything about them to push that Justified album. He definitely used Britney on that. He used Janet to further his career. I already stated on social media earlier because I was watching this deep dive on Justin Timberlake, which had me write this comment. I was like, basically, Justin Timberlake's whole career has been courted around reheating Michael Jackson and Prince's nachos. And it's no shade, that's exactly the truth. Like, you talking about how much, and then you use literally Michael Jackson's leftovers, because remember, At one point, Michael Jackson was supposed to work with, I believe, Pharrell on some music or whatever the case was. Pharrell and Timbaland, I believe, presented Michael Jackson with some songs. Michael rejected them. I think he went off and did. I'm wondering if it was. I'm not sure if it was during the Invincible era because Michael Jackson did work with Rodney Jerkins on that record. I remember one time my cousin's ex-husband was obsessed with that album. He loved that, and he was like a full-on hood dude. Definitely was obsessed with that freaking album. I was like, he's loving that Michael Jackson record because it was like more into today's sound or whatever. So if I'm not mistaken, I think this was around the era when Michael Jackson was working with Rodney Jerkins. I think that Pharrell and Timbaland had worked on some tracks. Michael rejected them, basically, and them leftovers went to Justin. So Justin basically took a lot of those songs from Michael Jackson that he didn't want and put them on Justified. And if you listen to Justified, you definitely hear a lot of that Michael Jackson inspiration in a lot of the music. You cannot sit up there and say y'all don't. If you don't, you need the ears checked. And I know a good doctor that can help you get them ears checked. That's only if you live in New York. So I can totally see like why Britney would be so hesitant or want to perform in New York. But if she decides to perform overseas or get back at it and release music so that way she can fix this contract she got with RCA, because if I'm not mistaken, what was stated earlier, I think she still owes 3 more albums in that contract. And if Britney comes out with something now, she'll definitely have a lot of the nostalgia fans and the new generation of kids who love Britney. They'll go out and buy her music and she get out there and pay all that shit back so she's not beholden to these shady ass record labels, which we definitely gonna get into when we talk about Salt-N-Pepa later on in the show. So shout out to you, Britney. Hopefully you do make the comeback that you want, but you do it on your own terms. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding what Britney had to say about never wanting to perform in the United States ever again? Could you possibly see her coming back in the next couple of years to want to do a tour? But if she doesn't decide to perform here and she goes overseas, will y'all actually get y'all passports and your hotels and all the other stuff, gather up your coins, and will you actually go and support her overseas to go see her? I don't know. I just might do that too, because I just had a conversation with a friend of mine who was like, because of this administration, he said, well, you're going to have to come to Spain to see me because he's like, I ain't come back to America until this administration is chopped, until they are gone forever. So I was like, well, look, that's a good enough excuse for me to take my ass to my home, to my people over in España. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Wait, hold on. You said, I think people are realizing that Britney found a way to do her RCA contracts and might be the third artist to do Brazil. You ever read that one, right? Do you like the Madonna songbook? I didn't watch the episode. Oh, that episode you sent me, I didn't get around to watching it yet. There was a bunch of other stuff I was doing while I was getting today's show ready. I'll check it out, but I didn't get a chance to watch it. Also, I got to watch the Madonna Louise Veronica Ciccone podcast. I always call it by the whole name. I got to watch that with Stefan. So they did something talking about the new Madonna song and all that other stuff. And so I'm going to watch that as well. What did you think about the M&M's tour after I sent you the TikToks about an Addison Rae's tour set up the same way, but it looks unprofessional and low? Child, don't even get me started about Addison Rae and how stuff with low budget. First of all, if that queen over there that be up Taylor Swift ass would have seen your comment, oh, he would have been salivating at the mouth over that. Y'all know her, the one that got that oily skin and them greasy ass lips, the Swiftologist. I liked it. It was cute. It was a cute. And first of all, after you said it, I was like, "Oh yeah, I do remember that." I totally forgot about the Eminem song because I remember that. Because I remember years ago, I seen when she performed "Do Something." I just like the way she be saying that. So I was like, "Oh yeah, I do remember that tour." I just forgot it was called the Eminem's tour. Honestly, who still wants to see her perform when she don't even want to do it anymore? Most of the artists with 20 plus years of performing are tired and over it and are pressured by insane and the bodies be killing themselves. Like, even no shade, even if you look at Beyonce, you could definitely see that she's tired. She's still like, she over getting up on that stage and performing. She look like she don't even want to be up there. But if you want to continue that billionaire status, you got to do it. And Madonna, I'm like, does she really need to get out there and perform? I think Madonna loves performing. Same thing with Kylie. I think Kylie loves getting on the stage and performing. There's some people that just love that roar of the crowd. And then there's some people, you look at them and it's like, you really do not want to be up on this stage. So why even bother? If you don't want to be up there, we're definitely going to sense it. And then we're not going to want to watch you. So yeah, that's why I was like, after a while, I kind of gave up on Britney because I was just like, she ain't giving me what I need regarding performances. You know who else doesn't appreciate Robin? Anyone under the age of 30 who didn't grow up with Robin and can't name one song from her besides 360 Remix with Love. Well, honey, you are under 30 and you appreciate Robin. So, but I'm looking forward to this album though. And you want to know something? I will have to change my mind because I'm allowed to do that. The songs have grown on me. Especially that, what's the name of that song with the one she tells about IVF? That song has grown on me. I like it now. I had it on repeat though, and I think what it was, the reason why I liked it, because now they have Apple Music is on Dolby Atmos. So when I was listening to it in my over-ear headphones, because I can't wear the ones that goes in the ear. So now I wear the overhead headphones. When I was listening to it, I'm like, ooh, this bass is hitting me. So hearing all the different sounds and stuff in there. And then it got me interested in I was in a whole synth pop mood this weekend. I was listening to Ladytron and a lot of music. First of all, Ladytron has a new album coming out. I need to find out what date it is because they only have the 4 singles. And my thing says 2025. And I'm like, we're in 2026. Where's the record? But I was liking what I was hearing on that record so far. They know her song Dancing on My Own, but the cover, ew, I don't even know who that is. That Scott dude. But no, the only one I know about Dancing on My Own is from her. But yeah, that is one of her biggest hits though. And if I remember correctly, MJ and Prince were not because he tried to be shady and throw shade at Prince, kneeling down at the microphone when he won his award. I was like, don't play with Prince because you will never be like Prince. Prince played every goddamn instrument under the sun. So you can be cute up there and make a little height joke. But sir, we could read your Down syndrome looking ass too, down to the floor. I feel bad for Justin, female rappers, and anyone else whose biggest inspiration does not. Okay. As for Britney, she clearly has no interest in working with the music industry that broke her. It would be cute to go on a little vacation to see Britney live. Love visiting new sites. Yeah, I wouldn't mind going to see her, but I don't know. I don't know if I trust her. So anyway, I go to London to see her at Royal Albert, and like I said, she'll stage it where we get a 30 to 45 intermission to get bathroom, food. Why would you want to do an intermission? Girl, you're not I was like, you're not Fish. I was trying to think of a band that actually does do intermissions. You're not Andrea Bocelli, because that was another show I did when they did intermissions. It's like a lot of the older groups, a lot of the older bands, or a lot of older artists do intermissions. I'm so nervous because we have Bon Jovi coming to the Garden. They're doing 9 dates. I'm like, that is crazy. And then Rush is coming. They're doing 4, I believe. So I'm like, that's a residency almost. So yeah, I think the Britney Spears is going overseas and doing her thing and getting her money. Why not? Her music was definitely appreciated internationally. Yeah, I was like, the international audience to me, I feel like appreciates her more so than America. Not Bay is tired. Oh please, Mary. Let me tell you, Mary J. Blige definitely is over it. When I worked her tour, she looked like she did not want to be up on that damn stage. And a lot of her fans was getting on my nerves too. I'm like, and they told me the Barclays Center was better. I said, why? Because they accept ratchetness over there. And I said that queen would that be up till. Oh, I saw it. I saw the video. I didn't watch it, but I know because Robert posted it in the group chat. So I was like, why? Now, why? Or was it Robert? Or was it? Who was somebody? Who was it? Keith Mack? One of them might have been Robert. Y'all already know how I feel about that queen. And the minute he posted that damn video and the thing, I was like, now you're about to get me started. Got me started. So y'all know how to get, if you want to know how to rile me up, post a video about the Flivologist and send it to me. You said that Queen B.L. Swift released a new video today, the 7th. Oh, and then they was talking about they didn't like the idea that he used that picture, a shady photo of Madonna, and knowing full and well she don't look like that. And funny enough, the pictures that they was used where they show like Madonna from her Bad Girl music video, and then showed a picture of her from the new Dolce and Gabbana ad. So I was like, stop, she don't really look like that. I'm like, did you not watch the video? Because she does look like that from that era, just older. So Madonna at level 7, Beyonce was level 6, Charlie was level 5, Miley was level. He done lost his motherfucking mind. Putting Tate McRae and Miley Identity Crisis Cyrus over Madonna and Beyonce. First of all, if it wasn't Madonna, these other basic bitches that he put on his list wouldn't even be having the careers that they have today. Especially a Tate McRae or a who's the other one? Miley. It's like, why you put and Charlie above Madonna? Get the fuck out of here. That's almost like, and then talking about I said what I said, and what I should have wrote in this comment of what you said was some bullshit. Because that's what exactly what it was. I can't stand when these old mediocre ass beige looking palm folks be up in here trying to dictate what is considered pop iconicness. And probably has Tay-Tay at number damn 1. Okay. Mid-ass motherfuckers trying to talk about mediocre ass performers should be on a whatever tight ass list they want to come on. It'd be these punks that be pissing me off. He said Madonna and Kylie came from an era that the golden Hollywood still existed, like Frank Sinatra, Fred Astaire, etc. and stuff. So that era loved working. And Jennifer Lopez too. Say what you want about Jennifer, and I do, but she is definitely one of those girls that's like that too. Because funny enough, what was the name of the tour? I think it was called All I Have or whatever. The one where she went and finally did her little world tour. And that was at the throes of her twins were 4 years old at the time. Casper, she was hunching Casper Smart because she had just had her little divorce situation from Mark Anthony. And I guess she was feeling lonely. So then she got up in there and went. And then that was the time when Kassan, who was one of Pink's the black guy, the one that was on Fire Island that actually dances background for Pink, he quit her tour in the middle of the tour and was like, I don't remember what the reason was. She chastised him on all the other stuff. That tour, that appeared on YouTube. And funny enough, I was watching it while I was working out. So I literally was riding the bike for over an hour that day. Let me tell you, my legs felt like jello after that because I was like at the gym on the bike. I was like, oh, the Uniform thing came out. And I sat and watched it while I was exercising because I was like, I can't do nothing else productive if this thing is on. I got to watch it. So I was watching it and I was riding the bike. Then I regretted it because I couldn't feel my legs after that. And I did see Robin's performance and I thought she did great. I just literally thought maybe everyone was so probably cold and probably full of piss and shit, with those them diapers they wear. Because I don't know how anybody stand out there as long as they do, waiting for a damn ball to drop. And that's why I find it funny that people be asking us in New York. We don't know what that's like. Us New Yorkers, we don't be standing out there like that. That's a tourist thing. I was just jamming the Robin Show Me Love era. Well, damn, that's like the Robin Is Here era. That's the first album. I have seen a big improvement in sound quality since joining Apple Music a little under a month ago. Vespertine sounds completely different. Metal music is much louder, and there's more bass on Brat. That's why I said Apple Music is definitely it when it comes to like the sound and stuff. That's why I appreciate it more. Intermissions is definitely giving 30 plus audience. Okay, because they be looking for like, is it like, and when I be working at the Garden, they be asking me, they be like, is there an intermission in his? No, this is a full-on, or is there an opening act or whatever the case is? It depends. But yeah, the older audiences, they get the intermissions. If I was Beyonce, she need to start doing intermissions too, because girl, your audience is up there too. Madonna looks like she did when she was on SNL performing Bad Girl with Fever. Her hair is almost the same. That woman don't do nothing that's not intentional. Level 7 is the highest caliber. Oh, is it? Oh, well, I told her I watched the damn video, so I went on that whole tangent for nothing. I still don't like the bitch. But you said, I still can't believe Jennifer is getting a 25th anniversary edition. People are shocked no vault material, but she was recording 2 weeks Sonia Hollywood had a great, that was around the time that she was trying to capitalize off being an actress, being a musician, because of the whole Selena thing. She capitalized off the music based off that. She was like, oh, I've always wanted to be a musician. I think it wasn't until you did the whole Selena thing that you saw that was an opportunity for you to strike, and you struck. So the singing, the acting, all of that coinciding at the time. And I guess at that time, you really didn't need to tour. Touring wasn't a necessity for artists back in the day because it was all about those CD sales and stuff. But people ain't buying physical media no more. So now there is a big emphasis on having to perform and make that money back through merch and touring. Okay, so now we're gonna shit a little bit more on the industry, on the music industry, because we gotta get into this Salt-N-Pepa story. So, as y'all remember, Salt-N-Pepa had filed a suit against Universal Music Group over the rights of their catalog, saying that the label had pulled the duo's songs from streaming platforms as they attempted to regain control of their masters. Well, the judge basically, at New York's Southern District Court, basically ruled in UMG's favor. So the case has been dismissed. And when I was hearing about this whole situation regarding, because remember, when we did the show the last time, this was actually the one that Cleveland sent in the thing of, oh, I got something for you that you should probably look at, whatever case. So I totally forgot about the whole Salt-N-Pepa case because I didn't even know what was going on. But they came to a conclusion. And to be honest, this is some BS. Like, I don't understand, like, how a group that has played a prominent role in female rap. They're like the icons in female rap that have been in the game for over 3 decades. Like, I grew up on Salt-N-Pepa. And, I was a kid when they came out, like in the era of like what? Them and TLC and all these other type of groups. And for them to be like, well, you put these people, you get them caught up in these crappy contracts where they're literally slaves to a horrible record. And if you go back and look at a lot of people's record deals, they're all trash. And I think a lot of these artists don't even understand like a lot of the jargon that's in those contracts, where they want you to be beholden and talking about that, they give you this advance. The label has to recoup this music. But at what point have I, 30 years in the game, have put out music, the albums have gone platinum, double platinum, triple platinum, some have gone diamond. I'm just speaking in general. They've gone diamond. I've done all the work. I've toured my ass off, still out here doing shows, because Salt-N-Pepa definitely gets out there and tours still. And then I have nothing to show for it. I still can't own my masters. The label still wants to have me beholden to these slave contracts. So that pisses me off. So, according to the Associated Press, a federal judge dismissed the pioneering hip-hop group Salt-N-Pepa's lawsuit to reclaim ownership of their master recordings from UMG. U.S. District Judge Denise Cote on Thursday sided with the recording giant. Well, there's a special place in hell for her stupid ass, arguing that the Grammy-winning group never owned the copyrights to their sound recordings and didn't transfer them to anyone else. Plaintiffs could only terminate copyright transfers that they executed. None of the contracts identified by plaintiffs indicate that they ever owned the master tapes. UMG argued that the recordings were works made for hire, which would not allow for the reclaiming of rights. Salt-N-Pepa's lawsuit said their agreements with the label made it clear that they were not. Now, even with the court's complete rejection of their claims, we remain open and willing to find a resolution to the matter and return the page so we can focus our efforts on working together to amplify Salt-N-Pepa's legacy for generations to come. This according to UMG. Well, my thing is this. Why don't you give them their recordings? Like, to me, I feel like if you sign a crappy deal, which a lot of times these artists don't know to get your own entertainment lawyer, a lot of times the label will be like, oh no, use our lawyer, but not realizing the artist be so wet behind it. Oh, okay, because they have my best interest at heart. No, the fuck they don't. Let me tell you, these labels only care about their bottom line and their money. So if they pick their entertainment lawyer to represent you, they're not technically representing you. They're representing the label. So when you get your own entertainment lawyer and they look over the paperwork and everything, and they realize there's quite a couple of kinks in the armor, then that's going to make them look a certain way. This is why I say at this day and age, labels ain't shit. They're not really developing artists. And what you need to do is, I know it's a harder road traveled, and I know it's difficult to get up that hill or whatever the case is. Running up that hill. I don't know why Susie Sue just popped in my head, but oh wait, sorry, Kate Bush. I said Susie Sue, child. Kate Bush. I don't know why that, when it comes down to it, people think that being on a label that is going to help you in some sort of way. Now, in the day of the social media and internet and all the other stuff, to me, that's your marketing tool. Get out there, hire a photographer to do your photo, your promo photos, album covers, all that stuff. If you want to find a way to create lyric books or whatever the case is, so people can read the lyrics or whatever, you do that. There's ways that you can upload your music all on the social media platforms like Spotify and Apple Music, that sort of thing. I know it's a lot harder to release things independently, but if you really want to make a name for yourself and get yourself out there and do smaller venues so you can grow and build that audience that will follow you wherever, you're going to have to put in the work. And unfortunately, you got to spend all that money, because these labels, you'll be cut to them for the rest of your life. But at least at the end of the day, you own your work. You own your masters, you own all your product. And it's unfortunate that, like, with almost 4 decades in the game, these ladies have to deal with this BS from a label that don't want to give them their hard work to be able to make money off of. I remember Robert said, I think it was him that said this, that this is karma for how they treated Spinderella. But here's the thing, for now, Spinderella, Salt-N-Pepa are on good terms. Spinderella revealed this because she went on Funky Dineva's show and did an interview, and she mentioned that I think it was some type of, was it the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or something or another? They were supposed to meet up there, and she said she was nervous, whatever. But and this was like before they had to film for that. But she had mentioned that the ladies were in a good place at this point. So I'm glad that they've all managed to work it. And because to me, Spinderella is every part of Salt-N-Pepa. You know, even though they don't want to openly admit that. And funny enough, Wendy Williams said at one point they wanted her to be the Spinderella of their group before they went with Spinderella. So they wanted her to be the DJ. So yeah, the Queen of New York duo of Cheryl Saul James and Sandra Pepper Denton became Salt-N-Pepa in '85. They were later joined by Spinderella, who was not part of the early agreements, under dispute, and is not involved in the lawsuit. Salt-N-Pepa signed with Next Plateau Records and released their debut album Hot, Cool, and Vicious in '86. Next Plateau was an independent label at the time, and it's now under the banner of Universal Republic label. Some of the group's hits include 1993's Shoop and 1987's Push It, which means basically Next Plateau got swallowed up by Universal. Now, in '95, they became the first female rap group to win a Grammy, and in 2021, they received a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. In November, they followed Missy Elliott as the second female hip hop act at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, handling the Influence Award. So that's how iconic they are. And for them to be treated like this by UMG, y'all ain't ish. Just for that. But for the Drake stuff, I'm all here for. Now, at the podium during the induction ceremony, James noted that the group's James noted the group's legal fight. She said, "This is the Influence Award. We have to keep using our influence until the industry honors creativity the way the audience does, with love, respect, and fairness." Now, in their lawsuit, Salt-N-Pepa claimed that the 1976 Copyright Act gives artists the right to reclaim ownership of master recordings and terminate past agreements after 35 years. So if they are, when did they form? Well, they came out in '86, right? So 1986, we're in 2026, it's been 40 years. So after 35 years, I could have sworn that, yeah, there is the thing that after 35 years, that past shit was terminated, or it should have been. So why they can't get their money or whatever the case was. So I don't know. I guess you're going to need a new contract, whatever the case is, or look, here's another thing. Maybe I need to pull a Taylor Swift and re-record y'all stuff and basically get people to go over there and listen to that and don't give UMG a dime of the original stuff, because they removed everything from Was it they removed them? When I went on there to look up the music or whatever, because I was like, yeah, that is true. A lot of their songs is not up there to listen to. So that might be the way to go. You might have to re-record y'all stuff and get people to listen to that and not listen to the original versions of the songs. So that's the way I say go through it. Because I think at this point, I don't know if people want to hear new music from Salt-N-Pepa. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this latest story regarding Salt-N-Pepa? I'm sure there'll be more. Who knows? They did say they're going to appeal it. So I'll keep you abreast of that story once we cross that bridge. But in the meantime, I definitely want to hear from y'all regarding this story. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Right, Robert says, and Universal acquired this label. It wasn't part of the MCA era, but acquired as a sale. Next Plateau was an independent label. Crappy deal and not a contract is a contract. Ooh. Don't you just love when that's when my baby daddy just be popping up out of nowhere? Is that really a contract ain't? And wait, you're saying really a contract ain't in contract when you're intentionally misleading and manipulating the parties involved. We know the technicalities, but it's time out for playing this behavior. He said the talent are the ones who make history, not the labels, lawyers, distributions, and publishers. I don't give a fuck. We know they put in work to deserve all they're requesting. Exactly. And I feel like after 35 years, they should be able to get their masters back. So give them back their damn masters. Universal just being greedy. And this is why I always say that it makes you not want to believe in getting support from record labels. All right, now let's move on from Salt-N-Pepa. And let's talk about Beyonce. So Mathew Knowles, who basically, created Beyonce with his sperm, basically stated that his daughter, who's now a billionaire, has never talked about money and isn't motivated by it. Basically saying that her whole thing has always been about the craft and everything. Well, funny enough, it's funny how you say that, but it don't feel like that's the truth, because it do feel like a lot of it is based around money. Hence why she been out here selling liquor. She been out here selling hair care products like she Kenya Moore. And them damn tickets and stuff at them stadium tours be OD expensive. And it's funny, Bruno Mars about to perform at the same stadium that she performed in Jersey. So the Upgrade You singer ended 2025 on Forbes magazine's famed rich list, but her father Mathew says she's not motivated by money. I think that's what they meant, because they put she's not motivated money. See, he said, I've never heard Beyonce ever talk about money. It's always been, how can I make my fans happy? How can I be the best at what I'm doing? Her money came with the success, but that has never been a goal of hers, and I love that about her. Beyonce's lucrative The Renaissance World Tour and Cowboy Carter concerts, in addition to her business empire, which includes a Sir Davis whiskey and Secret hair care, which I just made fun of, helped make her the fifth musician to make Billionaire list. The singer joins Bruce Springsteen, Rihanna, Taylor Swift, and her husband, Jay-Z, as musicians who are part of the Billionaire Club. Now, Knowles told us he's congratulated her when she made the list, but reiterated that's not just Beyonce. That's not who she is. She's motivated by being the very best. She's motivated by making her fans happy and giving back to the community as well. Knowles launched Destiny's Child Iconic Reimagined tribute to honor his daughter's iconic band in Houston, Texas last week. The multi-city show features quintet musicians and violinists performing some of the band's hit songs, including Bootylicious, Survivor, and Independent Woman. Knowles shared stories throughout the hour-long performance. We're saying we're planning on taking it global, and we're also looking at other A-list urban artists to be next. This is a partnership that I built with live event company Fever that's not just based on Destiny's Child. But we're going to milk Destiny's Child for as long as we can, because I own the rights to Destiny's Child, and I want to make as much money as I can, because the wallet might be a little tight. I'm just speculating. I was going to say exaggerate, but not really. So, the reality of the whole situation is, all jokes aside, I do think he's correct on that with the whole Beyonce thing and not being motivated by money. I mean, it does take money to be able to build the empire and have all the things that she has. But for the most part, Virgos, for all I know, I'll speak for myself because like I told you, I'm September 2nd, she's September 4th. When it comes to us Virgos, we're not beholden to money. We like having money. We like having money to secure our situation so we ain't out here worrying about being homeless and struggling. But for the most part, money is not our motivator. It's a plus. We like working our ass off. We like doing the things that we love doing. And if there's money that comes with that package, then that's a plus. But it's not something we're necessarily motivated by. So good on Mathew for, saying that about his daughter. And good on Beyonce for continuing to do what she does. Now, in other Beyonce news, we got to talk about this other person that's the guy that basically they caught eventually who had broken into her team's vehicle and stole. Well, I don't know if they broke into. I think the car was rented by the guy, or whatever the case was, and then he ended up taking her unreleased music. And I don't even know, did they ever get it back? So they're saying, like, well, shout out to Rolling Stone for this story. So they said the man accused of stealing unreleased Beyonce music and tour plans from a rental car in Atlanta last summer pleaded not guilty to theft charges on Wednesday, January 7th. Kelvin Evans appeared virtually in Fulton County Court yesterday, where he met and spoke with his public defender before entering his guilty plea, according to local news. Evans reportedly said little else during the hearing, and his lawyer did not immediately return a request for comment. Evans is facing a felony charge of entering a motor vehicle with the intent to commit theft, as well as misdemeanor charge of criminal trespassing. He'll next appear in court on February 11th for a case management hearing. The hard drives containing the unreleased music and tour plans were stolen last July as Beyonce's Cowboy Carter tour rolled through Atlanta. Now, choreographer Christopher Grant and dancer DeAndre Blue said they parked their rental car around 8 p.m. and when they returned an hour later, the trunk window was damaged and 2 suitcases were missing. In a police report, Grant told officers that he had been carrying personal sensitive information for the musician Beyonce and that hard drives for her new upcoming show in Atlanta were also taken. The hard drives contain watermarked music, some unreleased music, footage, plans for the show, and past and future set lists, per the police report. Now, while an arrest warrant was issued for a suspect about a week later, it wasn't until late August the police arrested Evans, though that was for an unrelated parole violation. In mid-September, he was officially named the suspect in the Beyonce case. Evans has been out on a $20,000 bond since October. So he's been out there. Said apparently he found the money to be able to get that bond to go and sell some of Beyonce's stuff in order to get it. Because you don't look like the type that got $20,000 just sitting in the bank. No shade. I'm just saying. So, I don't think they got the stuff back, which is unfortunate because somebody out there got all her damn plans. Well, Beyonce, if you're working on Act 3 and you plan on revealing it this year, you may have to go in and make some changes, which I'm sure she probably did. Because if you got all your stuff stolen, this is why you gotta have and as much money as you got, you a billionaire, so there's no excuse. You can actually use the money that you have to hire a guard to protect your stuff. Because if you're gonna be walking around with suitcases full of footage that you're using for your tour, that's not something you could just be leaving in the back of a damn vehicle. I'm surprised that Beyonce allowed somebody on her team to be that damn reckless. I'm not saying that you called on something like that to happen, but you're dealing with a lot of fake it till you make it type butch queens that live in Atlanta that be out here acting like they stunting when they ain't got a pot to piss in the window roll, throw it out of, and 2 pennies to rub together. So, everybody out there be looking for a moment and an opportunity. So I wouldn't trust leaving any of my stuff in no vehicle unattended. Not no Atlanta. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding what Beyonce's father had to say about never hearing Beyonce ever talk about money, even though she's a billionaire and everybody else be talking about her money except her, and the guy who had just stood before a judge in regards of, who stole her music. So whatever your thoughts on this matter, let me know in the comments down below. Oh my God, I sat up in here and I just went through this whole thing and didn't even realize we only got 2 topics left. Excuse me. Yeah. He said Bay is not the one pushing these products. It's her management and the people behind her. They know music don't sell like it used to. But yeah, you definitely got to realize it's like people ain't buying music no more. I mean, like Rihanna. Excuse me, Rihanna got her billions from Savage Fenty and selling all them other products. She didn't get it for the music. She was using the money from her music to do her other endeavors and all the endorsement deals and stuff she was making. So that was smart on her part. And she flipped it. She cares about the craft and the music. You're my mama's birthday twin. Oh, wait, she was born September 2nd, too? Yeah, because I be calling Keanu Reeves my birthday twin because that's when his birthday. He said I'm September 3rd, and I must agree. If I had won the Mega Millions, it would have been all about creating nonprofits and chat. And not only that, but child, I wouldn't have told people I won it. I was even thinking, I was like, would I even tell my mother I won? Because I know her. She got a loose mouth. She don't watch the show. We could talk about it. Yeah, she be telling every damn body. I'm like, I don't need you to tell everybody I won the lottery because I ain't gonna majority of them people in the family that's gonna be having their hand. I don't know y'all. I'm gonna be like Mariah Carey. I don't know them. He's like, I used to know a guy from my Bigo days that looks a lot like the man in the mug. Child. I mean, when you have enough money, you really don't need to talk about. Well, true. People with money don't really be. That's why I be telling people all the time. Like people who be really out here balling and flossing and stuff like that, they are not running around here telling everybody how much money they have or all the things. Like they always say, like when they always talk about people who have the big old dick, don't always be talking about that they got a big old dick. They just surprise you with it. I mean, look, when I be wearing the clothes I be wearing, I'll be walking down the street. I notice the people be looking in my crotch area, and I'll be like, stop looking. And it be mostly women, too. Women are perverts. Or a lot of time when I be wearing my little short shorts at the gym, the men be looking, too. And you say, yes, Keanu, too. Like, I swear Virgos usually don't care about money. It's something. I don't care about money. I like having it. I like being comfortable with it. But money is not something that I surround, like I make a whole big thing. Oh my God, I have that money. Oh, money. I don't give a shit about all that. I just like at least being able to have enough money in my account where I ain't got to stress out over being broke or if I'm going to be able to pay my rent or if I'm going to be able to buy groceries. Like, I don't want to be in that mentality. So, and then it's like, yeah, using the money for important things. Because I think I believe I would do that too, set up a bunch of charities. And all that is good for a tax write-off as well. So, but anyway, all right, y'all. So we down to our final two topics. So before we get to our final two topics of the day, because I didn't realize we went through this show so damn quick that I didn't even realize that we only have two topics left on the docket. So before we get to these final two, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Please and thank you. So now, without further ado, let's get into some homosexual news. And let's windmill on Matt Rogers and his parrot, Bowen Yang, because they decided to fix their mouths to talk about a subject they know nothing about, which is politics. So, I don't know, over the weekend, who was it, like Friday or whatever the case was? I was scrolling through my phone or whatever. I was trying to remember, where was I? I don't know where I was, but I was scrolling through my phone. All of a sudden, I saw this Matt Rogers making comments about Jasmine Crockett. And when I'm watching the thing, I'm like, boy, they're about to eat your ass up on this social media. And lo and behold, that's what they did. Because he was sounding like, it was just word salad. Like, none of what he was saying was making logical sense. All I know was after I watched it, it just reeked of racist, misogynistic dog whistles. That's basically what you was given in the whole situation. So they said, according to the story, Matt Rogers, General, and Bowen Yang are not afraid to discuss their political beliefs on their podcast, trashy ass Las Culturistas, which y'all don't know shit about the goddamn culture, but y'all be running up there thinking because you got a seal of approval from Andy Cohen and y'all got your little corny ass award show where y'all just be loud and stereotypical homosexuals over on the Bravo network that gives y'all A-list status. First of all, we all know Bravo gives a bunch of D-listers and Z-listers opportunities. Don't nobody A-list go on that show unless it's on Watch What Happens Damn Live. And it's rare if Andy Cohen can even get A-listers to pop up on that tired-ass talk show. But Matt Rogers and Bowen Yang apparently have their own little thing going. They have their podcast. Very few people listen to it. And funny enough, I've always, from the clips I've seen, because I've never seen a full episode of their show, they're just not the type of gays that I find remotely entertaining. I find them more annoying than entertaining. And it seems to be a lot of these annoying queer pundits that get a lot more attention because they're annoying. And y'all walking around being gay stereotypes. And to me, I've always looked at Bowen Yang side-eyed. Like, I was like, what is the thing about him that's irritating me? Matt Rogers already irritated me. And I already told you, I saw his ass at the Sabrina Carpenter concert. He was in the 100s because clearly you couldn't afford floor seats. But he was up there with his boo. I don't even know if they're still together. But before the big announcement was coming out about Matt Rogers on the gay blogs about his relationship, I seen them up in my section that I was working. He was up there with his man or whatever the case was, and they was having a good old time with that dry ass music from Sabrina. But I was like, if you really was boiling, your ass would be on the floor with everybody else. But he wasn't down there. But nevertheless, there was always something about Bowen Yang that rubbed me the wrong way, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And I was like, he's a pick-me. He always comes across as one of those Gaysians that feels like if I assimilate myself close to whiteness, then I've arrived and I've made it in the industry. And he was definitely giving that in this clip that I'm about to play y'all. So they got up on this show and was doing some I don't think so, honey, which I find it funny that you pretty much dismiss a black woman being able to run Texas, let alone, I would not be surprised if he was somebody who was against Kamala Harris being president too. And probably voted for Trump, low-key, no shade. Or maybe all shade, I should say. And y'all do all the mannerisms. I don't think so, honey. Those are black woman isms that y'all be doing. So I find it funny that you white people, you white gays, love to use the lingo of black people. You want black people to clean up the mess that a lot of these white constituents in politics or whatever do. You want her to be the mammy, but you don't want her to run the department. So that's what it was given with the way he was talking. So during the episode, they talked about their feelings on different politicians they supported in the early 2010s and how they knew their chances of winning were slim but still support him. Because he mentioned that how he don't like Gavin Newsom. And he feels like because his strategy of dunking on President Donald Trump and Republicans and in speeches without following that up with actionable change. Well, Gavin Newsom's been doing some things in regards to California. You just ain't been paying attention. You just been focusing on what goes viral on social media. But he's been going back and forth on Donald, and what it is, the main goal of politicians going against Donald Trump, people want to see a fighter. And we're not seeing any kind of fight on the Democratic side. You're seeing it from Ro Khanna. You're seeing it from Bernie Sanders. You saw it from Zohran Mamdani, but he's a democratic socialist. You're seeing it from AOC. You're seeing it from who's another one? I did say Jasmine Crockett. You're seeing it from her. So yeah, let me play the clip of what this hoe had to say. And wait, hold on, and then we will come back and we will talk. All right, please hold.
Let me just qualify the Jasmine Crockett thing. She's not going to win a Senate seat in Texas, you guys. Like, if Beto O'Rourke couldn't do it, like, Jasmine Crockett is not going to do it. She is and it's nothing against her. It's just that she is a politician and that she is like, very well defined already. And I think it's my opinion that we are going to need someone who is less defined at this moment. Mm-hmm. That then rises up. Like, I'm interested in this Tallarico guy from Texas.
Oh, I don't know him.
I'm just interested in him.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I haven't seen him before. It would be hard for them to define him as anything other than what he is, which is like a rising Democratic politician from someplace like Texas, mm-hmm. who is like, yes, speaking a little bit to the middle, but at least he's someone that like we can't define already. Okay. You know what I mean? Let me just.
So tell me you know nothing about politics, but not telling me you don't know anything about politics. And that whole comment right there shows you know nothing. So because Jasmine Crockett has been defined, by, and he didn't specify which exact group has defined her. Who are we talking about? We talking about the Republicans? Because I always feel like when it comes to a lot of you pussy ass spineless Democrats, y'all worry about what the other side is saying about your people instead of actually standing in the shits along with your people and really having a back in a lot of situations. So defined by what? I need to know what is exactly she's been defined by. And also, if you're going to talk about you're interested in this Tallarico guy and Bowen, I don't know her. I don't know who is that. Why am I doing Tim Gunn as Bowen Yang? I was like, if you don't know if you're interested in a candidate, my thing is this. If I don't like, I'm not saying you just need to blindly, because I don't like the whole identity politics shit either. No shade. I'm just saying. I'm not going to vote lockstep with somebody because they're black or because they're a woman, because they're this or because they're that. Tallarico and Crockett are the two that are running in Texas. Texas is also a very big state. It is very complex. Trying to understand like all the nuances. And I have somebody who actually, and I have a clip that I want to play also of someone who lives in Texas that is going to break down the policies of what is at stake and what's going on in Texas. And my thing also with this is that if you're not going to vote for Jasmine Crockett, I need to understand policy. Like, you need to explain. You can't say, oh, she's just not going to win. How the fuck do you know? First of all, you live in New York, bitch. You don't even live in Texas. You don't live in Texas. So how you going to sit up there and speak on something that you don't even know anything about? It's not your policy. Just like if I don't live in Boston, I'm not going to speak on Boston politics. If I don't live in California, which I used to live in California, I'm not going to speak on California politics. I'm going to focus on what I got going on here. So what you should have did was stick to the rivers and the lakes that you used to, which is talking about basic ass pop stars like Ariana fucking Grande and Sabrina Carpenter, and leave the politics to the professionals. That's what you should have did. But you decided to get up on put your thin ass lips and speak into a microphone, which you know you have millions of people that listen to you, and spew a bunch of bullshit that you don't know what the fuck you talking about. And when you do stuff like that, it pisses me off because it's dangerous. Going on and telling people not to vote for somebody and don't give no valid reason as to why not to vote for them. So if you're going to say Tallarico is a much better candidate, why is he a better candidate? What are the policies that you feel trumps, no pun intended, Jasmine Crockett's? And put all that in there. When you're talking about it, you got to come with a list of shit. You can't just get on there to start going off script. Because a lot of you actors, when y'all don't have a teleprompter or a script in front of y'all, it shows how less than smart a lot of y'all are. And then you had Ling Ling up there, and I can say that because I'm part Asian, sit up there like a fucking parrot. I must agree. Agree on what, bitch? You ain't even say what you agreed on. Oh, and then they also went on Hillary Clinton and something like that. They went in lockstep and agreed with her. Child, I was not for Hillary Clinton. First of all, they shoved that old wide back bitch down our damn throat when she was running for president. And then when the whole Trump thing came out, oh, we could beat him. Nobody's going to take him seriously. He's a reality star. And didn't put no kind of work in anything. We didn't want her as a president. We wanted Bernie Sanders. But because it was Hillary's turn, according to, AIPAC and all these other people, they shoved her down our throat. That's why we lost the candidacy, among other things. So if you want to talk politics, I'm giving you the facts, sir. So if you're going to come up on here and talk shit, you got to know what the fuck you're talking about before you jump on here and start spewing a bunch of vitriol and a bunch of word salad. So, but they also said that, so I just want to know what the defining, what are you talking about defining? I mean, he's a rising Democratic politician and he could speak to the middle. What makes you think, she can't go in and speak to the middle? Because I'll use an example. How much shit did people talk about, Zohran Mamdani in New York, where they felt like they tried to make him out as he's Jewish. They were calling him a lot of Islamophobic, shrouding him with a lot of Islamophobic rhetoric. They were saying all these things, but Zohran went in the trenches and was speaking to all the people that they told that he wasn't going to get to come on his side. And look at him. He's now the mayor of New York, the first Muslim Democratic Socialist mayor of New York, and is already making progress because he's already getting things in place for universal child care, which he said which is what he ran on, and that's what he's doing. So I don't like when people jump in and say that, oh, this can't happen because of this, this, and this. You either vote for somebody who you feel like is going to really bring change to your constituents, your town, your neighborhood, whatever, or you don't. It's that black and white in this situation because people are already trying to do the whole middling whatever thing, and look, we're in the shit we're in now because of this current presidency. So people need to start getting smart with who they're going to go and vote with or vote for. And look, yes, I think maybe he's saying because she's popular and she went after Marjorie Taylor Greene, rightfully so, because Marjorie Taylor Greene is a grifting ass bitch. I'm not buying this whole grift that she's trying to shove down our throat or whatever the case is. She also went in on Greg Abbott and called him Governor Hot Wheels, which I saw some old ass man literally look like he's a Trump supporter. All the stereotypes when I looked at his picture, and he was in Variety's comments talking about, well, is she gonna apologize for calling Greg Abbott hot? No, it's definitely fitting for him. And my thing is this: if that other side can make a whole career out of name calling and bullying and saying all those things, then if we want to clap back, which is what we want a fighter. We want somebody that can stand up to the establishment and call them out on their shit. We should have the right to do it. But y'all can dish it out, but you can't take it. My thing is I got thick skin, so I can come up on here and cuss somebody out. And if you want to come at me, go ahead. But at least have your facts straight before you try to come for me. Now, that ain't the only thing. I want to come here. There was another clip, a stitch. I do want to play this one. Too Raw, Too Real. And one of the things I didn't know about this, because I did like Keith Edwards at one point, but I did not know that Keith Edwards was the one that had kind of started this whole situation regarding this anti-Jasmine Crockett slander. Another white homosexual that I liked. But now that I'm hearing this shit, I'm like, oh no, I'm about to put you in the same category as I put Brian Tyler Cohen and the rest of them. You've been chopped from my go. Well, I don't really watch a lot of his stuff. I usually only watch when it's the videos about Mike Johnson been outed or some of them other Republican pundits that be out here sleeping with members of the same gender. So when they be when it comes to those videos, I usually watch for that. Whenever it's the real political stuff, I don't watch him. If I watch political people, I told you, I watch Kyle Kalinske, I watch Sabby Sabs, I watch Kyle's wife, Crystal Ball. I get all my different information from different people. But one of the things was, I want to show y'all this clip. I don't particularly like Too Raw, Too Real because I feel like he regurgitates a lot of centrist Democratic rhetoric and is very much a vote blue no matter who Democrat. So very Biden, Kamala, like that whole shit. And he's been called out on that. But look, I said in this situation, I don't know, we could read this queen down to the floor. So I'm with you on this shady read. So I like him for this. But all the other stuff, like when you come up here and start talking your political stuff, I say, yeah, you're paid for by the DNC. I don't like him for that. But this, I live for it. Let's play that clip and then we'll come back and talk.
Don't waste your money sending to Jasmine Crockett. Do not do it.
Hi, I'm Too Raw, Too Real, and I don't give a fuck how you feel. Matt, I'm about to lay your ass flat. Let me tell you something, bitch. Don't you ever in your 35 years of being here and being queer think you have the audacity, the caucasity to be a cunty-ass Caucasian and telling a black woman who the fuck she can and cannot motherfucking be, bitch. This alabaster-ass, fuck-ass podcaster used his platform, which he's ill-informed, to tell his audience not to give any type of financial campaign assistance to Jasmine Crockett. He says don't give her any money. It's a waste of time. Pick that cotton, dig that ditch, fry that chicken. You're not going to win in Texas. You're too black, bitch.
She's not going to win a Senate seat in Texas, you guys. Like, if Beto O'Rourke couldn't do it, like, Jasmine Crockett is not going to do it.
Then he says, oh, she's only making this about her.
Anytime a politician is making it too obviously about themselves, I'm already done.
Well, was she making it about her when she was standing up against ICE?
The fact that a woman was killed, she was shot in her head, and y'all are pretending like nothing happened. I remember when Charlie Kirk got killed. Do you remember what our response was? Our response wasn't to sit there and pretend like it was okay. Is it okay because you have a badge? Because the last time I checked, allegedly no one is above the law.
Was she making it about her when she was feeding the homeless? When she was donating her own fucking money to food pantries when they were cutting SNAP benefits? Was she making it about her when she got $10 million sent to her district for projects, to her community centers, for her constituents? Was she making it about her then, bitch? Shut your fucking mouth.
Now, let's address this.
It's nothing against her. It's just that she is a politician and that she is like very well defined already.
Jasmine is too defined. You mean too black What do you mean by too fucking fine? She only been in Congress for fucking 2-3 years.
It's my opinion that we are going to need someone who is less defined at this moment.
You said Jasmine can't win no Senate race because she's too defined. She's too well known. However, you need to be motherfucking known to win a statewide motherfucking race, bitch. How the fuck you supposed to win if nobody fucking knows you, ho? 2, in the same breath, you said you like Tallarico, but you proved my motherfucking point. Your yin-yang twin over here said he don't know who the hell Tallarico is.
I'm interested in this Tallarico.
Not yin-yang twin.
From Texas.
Oh, I don't know him.
Which begs the question, how the fuck you gonna agree with Matt when his ass said don't give any money to Jasmine, but yet you don't know the other motherfucking candidate on the fucking ballot? The blind leading the fucking blind. Between this bitch, and the one who posted it, Keith, bitch, y'all are the 3 blind mice. No, I expected this from Saltines, but Yang, this is disappointing. You was in Wicked, bitch. I thought you would have learned something from Elphaba, motherfucker. What happened to not accepting limits? But yet, you're limiting a black woman. See, this is the reason why they asses didn't have you but in 2 motherfucking scenes in part 2. Dulcie Bear had a bigger role than your motherfucking ass, bitch.
Don't waste your money.
That was like, okay, now that was a good damn read. And I saw no lies of what he said. But anyway, so then after that, then we had comedian actress Lonnie Love basically quote tweeted the creator's video and basically shared her thoughts in a post that reads, one of the reasons both can sit with their legs crossed making money is due to the work a lot of black women and men have fought for in civil rights about. And which is exactly true. If it wasn't for the civil rights movement, if it wasn't for the black people, the black women and the gays or whatever that was up in there, a lot of you homosexuals would be able to sit there with your legs crossed and a microphone shoved up in your mouth, be able to spew the bullshit that you spewing. At least know your history before you come out here and start spewing a bunch of nonsense. But you being a white male with a lot of privilege that immediately comes with privilege, because, you know, a lot of people like Matt, being gay is an afterthought. That's not the first thing that they are. They're white, they're male, and then they're gay. So he'll suck dick when he needs to. And I guess because that recent story that came out about Matt and the whole thing about him admitting that he flirts with Andy Cohen and had to dispel rumors that they had hunched. I'm like, first of all, 2 bottoms don't make a motherfucking top. Number one, no, I ain't saying no shade. It is all the shade. I mean, all the shade with this shit. 2 bottoms don't make a top unless y'all want to use a double-sided dildo on each other. But I guess that didn't make enough of us, didn't blow up enough over on the gay blog. So now you're going to say this foolishness. And now you out here with egg on your face and a foot in your mouth. So yeah, and then also, like she said, like, if we thought like this, she can't win, we wouldn't have LGBTQ rights today. They don't even live in Texas. Which is the fact, like, how are you speaking on Texas politics when you don't even live in Texas? So that's one of the things. Now, speaking of Texas, I want to play out this clip from a young lady who goes by Howdy Politics. She lives in Texas. And so for those who are not aware of what the policies are out there, what it's like, what they're dealing with, I want her to explain it, because Matt and Ling Ling think they know every goddamn thing. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-ling. That's what I'm going to call y'all. So let's play that clip and then we'll come back and talk.
And Matt Rogers and Bowen have walked back to their comments on their Culturistas podcast after seemingly the entire internet called them out on their uninformed take of the Senate race in Texas. Rogers told people not to donate to Jasmine Crockett because she can't win a statewide race in Texas because Beto, a white man, couldn't do it, but then seemingly propped up James Tallarico, despite admitting he doesn't know a lot about it. Many commenters pointed out to the fact that these comedians don't live in Texas or understand our politics, but I do, so let's talk about it. First things first, independent polling in Texas that came out yesterday shows that Jasmine Crockett actually has a net positive favorability amongst Texas voters, while the 2 Republican frontrunners both sitting in the negative double digits. So the idea that Crockett is somehow too controversial to be liked amongst voters just isn't supported in data. People see her as a fighter, and in this moment, that's what they're looking for. The Democratic primary in Texas for Senate is going to come down to is strategy and who is best poised for the general election. And not only for their own race, but who can help lift up the most down ballot candidates to victory, because Texas House Democrats need to flip 14 seats before the 2030 census if we're going to have a chance to draw those maps. Now, there's a lot that I could point to that's different on strategy with these candidates, but since Rogers wanted to talk about money, let's start there. Jasmine Crockett is a household name. James Tallarico, on the other hand, is still unknown to over half of Texas voters, according to the latest Texas Politics Project polling. And that includes 34% of Democrats, which shows shows this is a big problem for him, even in the primary. And his supporters keep saying, look, he just needs more time. He needs more money. In the last 90 days, he has spent nearly $1 million on Facebook ads alone. And in that time period, we have seen no shift in his name ID. Here's some really hard truth. The Democratic ecosystem as a whole is hurting. Supermajority, a nonprofit focused on mobilizing women voters, announced that it is shutting down. The group had previously planned to invest in the Lone Star State this cycle. And I know of several other organizations that are pulling out of Texas this cycle, citing funding. Even more so than normal, our Senate candidate is really going to have to financially carry our down ballot candidate like Jasmine Crockett doesn't have to spend on name ID. She doesn't have to hire an expensive media firm in New York City to book her on media. She gets earned media. She's also not lighting money on fire with the same very expensive and very out of touch ad agency that ran Colin Allred's TV ads last cycle. But I digress. Crockett's money is able to stay in Texas. And with two candidates who are very similar in policy, even if not federal experience, that difference matters. Ultimately, Texas voters will have to choose their fighter in the March primary. And it's important that we do so in the most informed way possible. So I am glad that we'll see the two candidates face off in a January 24th debate. I'll be covering races up and down the ballot in Texas this cycle, so make sure to follow for more.
Well, look, at least it goes to show that, you know what, between Jasmine Crockett and Tallarico, to me, because Jasmine is the more familiar face and she has the record to back up a lot of what she's been doing, she, to me, seems like the clearer choice. A lot of people don't know who James Tallarico is. Yeah, he spent $1 million. They're saying, like, but he hasn't shifted he hasn't moved the needle in regards to the Texans wanting to vote for him. And Texas is not some small little thing. There's a lot of parts of Texas that are just huge. It's about as big as California. So, but I think California might be bigger because you literally got to take the plane from certain places when you in California. So yeah, I wanted to play this so that way people get an idea of the political stuff. Also, I want to give a shout out to Tina Fey because she tried to tell y'all about I don't know why this damn thing won't pause. Hold on. Because I want to play this thing where she was trying to tell Bowen Yang about himself, but he think he know every damn thing. Hold on. Let me see if I can rewind it.
This podcast.
Hold on.
I don't think so, honey. Bowen Yang giving his real opinions about movies on this podcast. I regret to inform you that you are too famous now, sir.
I know.
What's going to happen? You have a problem with Saltburn? Quiet luxury. Keep it to yourself, because what are you going to do when Emerald Fennell calls you about her next project where you play Carrie Mulligan's coworker in the bridal section of Harrods, and then Act 3 takes a sexually violent turn and you have to pretend to be surprised by that turn. You hang out with Ariana and SpongeBob now. That is your life. Okay? And Matt Rogers, I can tell you, you got about 1 year left, and then learn from my mistakes, learn from IO. Podcasts are forever.
5 seconds.
Authenticity is dangerous and expensive. I don't think so, honey.
This is actually, that's what that is. That is so
that's
real.
An all-timer.
Los Culturistas. I don't think so, honey. Bowen Yang giving his real opinions about movies on this podcast.
All right. So I don't think, no shade, but yeah, he is a little too big for his britches. I honestly don't see Matt Rogers' career even getting to that point at this point. But I mean, you got to suck a lot more dicks to be able to get to that place. But anyway, so yeah, this was because Tina Fey told Bowen Yang and Matt Rogers almost 2 years ago, back in 2024, to keep it hush and keep it cute. She told Matt he had about a year, but they laughed it off because they could not recognize good advice. Now they're being dragged everywhere for not taking their advice and speaking on the wrong things and things they don't know enough about. Politics, comedy, and acting are all industries that rely on connections, and you can't afford to be catty on public record like this. So it's like, yeah, now people are going to look at you a certain way and they'll be like, oh, I don't want to work with him. But last but certainly not least, let's get to this Hope Giselle video that I want to play for y'all, because if this ain't a dragon, I don't know what to tell you, because she dragged their ass down to the floor. So this basically, you know, she said in the post regarding, before I get to what she had to say, she said, anger is not the absence of thought, it is the presence of memory. And Black women have long memories when it comes to being discouraged, dismissed, and disciplined out of power. When people use strategy as a way to tell us not to try, not to run, and not be funded, what they're really saying is know your place. This isn't about a podcast, it's about a pattern. Who gets protected? who gets discouraged, who gets called risky, who gets called serious. If democracy only works when certain people stay small, then it was never democratic to begin with. Oh, you know what? No shade, but they're the worst kind of damn Democrats. They ain't shit progressive about a Bowen Yang, or as I like to call them, to Dingaling and Ling. So let's play this clip of her where she dragged them down to the floor. I don't even think that there's a scout left after what she had to say going in on them. So let's play that clip and we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
It's always a twink with a gaping rosebud and a microphone that has so much to say. But since we are being funny, since the Boys with Podcast decided to turn a Black woman's Senate run into a punchline, let me return the favor. Because it's actually insane. And I'm not talking about quirky insane, not internet cute insane, but structurally violent insane. That Matt Rogers and Bowen Yang thought that it was appropriate to sit on a microphone and tell Black people, or people in general, not to financially support a Black woman who is running for office. Not critique her platform, not challenge her record, not debate her policies, just don't give her money. That's not comedy, that's not analysis. That is material attempting to start a Black woman's campaign. And then y'all wrap it up in this tired, cowardly ass phrase saying that she's too well defined. Well, baby, she's not too well defined. What she is too unignorable, too competent, and too Black in public. She's too woman while being ambitious, too clear about power and the clarity that scares people who benefit from living in a fog. Because somehow defined only becomes a problem when the candidate is a Black woman or a Black person in general. White men can be as defined as hell, angry, loud, corrupt, incoherent, indicted, and still get called serious contenders. They can lose 5 elections and be called building a movement. They can be mediocre forever and still get donors and headlines and grace. But a Black woman has to be flawless and frictionless and humble and exceptional and non-threatening and brilliant and warm and soft and strategic and silent, and she's still not going to be viable. And when she isn't those things, you don't debate her, you don't challenge her, you don't engage her, you don't try to financially do anything other than disappear her. And that's what makes this particularly nasty, is that it's coming from men who trade aesthetics over marginalization, men who benefit from being queer, from being outsiders, from being not the norm. And yet the second that a Black woman steps into an actual power shift, the instinct is still, let's manage her, let's shrink her, let's tell people not to invest in her. And that's not allyship. That's not progressive. That's not neutral. That is the same old hierarchical bullshit wrapped in a pride flag calling itself evolved. And forgive me, but I do not recognize comedians and sketch performers as the new gatekeepers of American fucking democracy. You are not political strategists. You are not organizers. You are not accountable to those people whose lives are going to be shaped by these elections. You are cultural commentators who mistook your audience for a constituency and your opinion for fucking expertise. And you use that platform not to expand democracy, but to narrow it. Yes, I am fucking angry. And I am angry because Black women are always asked to save this goddamn country and never trusted to lead it. We're always good enough to organize voters, but not good enough to be the candidate. Always good enough to fix crises, but never good enough to run institutions. Good enough to show up, but not good enough to be actually fucking funded. And I'm tired, bone fucking tired of watching Black women be treated like the risk while everybody else gets to be the fucking gamble. So if you want to be funny about Black women trying to govern, understand this. I can be fucking hilarious. I can be sharper, I can be louder, and I can be far more uncomfortable than the way that you all sat behind those mics. And I will use and never confuse my discomfort for your wrongdoing. You don't get to discourage investment in Black women and then hide behind the fact that it's just commentary. You don't get to undermine the campaign and call it discourse. You don't get to do goddamn harm and then ask for softness in response. So yeah, laugh, but understand something. Every time you tell people not to invest in Black women, you reveal exactly what kind of future you're comfortable with. And I'll wait for you to explain that that is why the future never seems to include us at the top. Very much like the steroid tops that you meet at Hamburger Mary's that ignore you until they want to hook up after a drunken night at the Abbey. But y'all don't understand anything about that. And until you do, I will fucking wait.
All right. Well, I don't think I need to add any more to that. If that ain't a word on a Sunday, I don't know what to tell you. Only thing I will say is this. So one of the things, and shout out to Hope Giselle for that. Definitely follow her on Instagram. I do have their apology. It literally was brought to you by ChatGPT. I was like, the fuck is this shit? So yeah, they posted this mess. And funny enough, Bowen Yang posted it with the little black part at the bottom, because I noticed Matt Rogers and Bowen Yang posted the same thing in the Instagram stories. And y'all already know how I feel about Instagram stories related content. I don't like when they post stuff like that, because I feel like it's a bullshit. You don't mean it. And you put it in there because, you know, after 24 hours, it goes away like the apology never happened. So let me read to y'all the foolishness that they put up in here. Because they did say, and I saw over on the Neighborhood Talk, they did say that they promised to do better after receiving backlash for urging people not to waste their money on Representative Jasmine Crockett's Senate campaign. They said, I just want us to win and I will be better at finding ways to help. No, don't help. The best way for you to help is not to help. Because he said that he gave some money to some woman in Maine or whatever, and he learned his lesson around that. So I guess you're not realizing politics is a gamble, that there are going to be people who win and there are people who are going to lose. So whoever you decide to give your money to, you can't expect that. I mean, I know you will hope that they will win, but if they lose, you got to realize that that money that you threw up behind that person, you lost out on it. Kind of like gambling. You can't just be throwing money at people expecting to just be like, oh, they're going to win or whatever the case is. Like, you get into things for the wrong reasons. And it's just like, you don't know what you're talking about. So just stay in your place. Just, talk about the mediocre ass pop stars that y'all be talking about. That caters the white gays. So he said, hey, everybody, I hear the response and I am taking every bit of it into heart, I promise. Transparency and candor matter to me, especially on the podcast. I'm a very no, you're not. I'm a very progressive person who cares deeply. You are not progressive, sir. You give a lot of centrist corporate democratic ideology in how you speak. There is nothing, and I cannot stand when people talk about how progressive they are, but it doesn't show in the things that you say. There's nothing progressive about you. So that's bothering me right now. But let me finish. He said, I'm a very progressive person who cares deeply about winning these elections, but my phrasing was not right. I will be more thoughtful. I really do promise. Well, if you're going to be more thoughtful, that's why I said, look, I already told y'all what needs to be done if you're going to jump in these political spaces. You got to make sure you make all of your points, make bullet points, do something, but at least be informed in what it is that you're going to say. He also went on to say, I have great respect and admiration for Representative Crockett. No, you don't. And I regret that my words suggested otherwise. I just want us to win and I'll be better at finding ways to help. And then his parrot decided to put in the little black font at the bottom, should not have cursorily weighed in on this, understanding the platform and will use it more responsibly. Now, cursorily, for those who are not aware, is basically somebody who just, in his words, blindly agreed with what he said without even doing the background check and all the other stuff into what Matt was saying. Because if I was on that panel with him, I'm pushing back. I'd have been like, so what is the reason why you're not interested in wanting to go after her? And that's this sort of thing. But he's just so happy to be in a room with them white people that's accepting him for now because it's, it's trendy to have your little Asian pet on the side. And, them thinking that I've made it because I've been tap dancing in these little white spaces. So he just so happy to be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and being in the room mingling with the Ariana Grandes and Matt Rogers and all these other celebrities, like Tina Fey said, him and SpongeBob, that, he's not going to question the thing. Because as fast as he got to be in that room with them A-listers, the fast they could kick his ass out and put him out the pasture. He is about every bit as that character he played in Fire Island. One of my friends said he better not see Matt Rogers in Fire Island. Well, I do plan on making a trip. But I said if I go out there, he definitely going to get a lashing from me, verbally. So, yeah, that's basically all I got so far. I know this is going to be a long one because there was a lot of ground to cover regarding this conversation. It is deeply nuanced. It is multi-layered. And I had to come with all my goddamn receipts. So, look. I say at the end of the day, these two Nelly bottles with their misinformed political viewpoints and lazy apology can take their opinions and fake walk back and shove it up their carotid, loose poop shoots. That's all I got to say on that. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What are your thoughts on this whole story regarding Matt Rogers and Bowen and their comments about Jasmine Crockett? I never knew for them to be political. I already knew they were just talking about a lot of vapid pop culture stuff. So I never thought about anything deep or nuanced would come from them, but they went and said this, put their foot in their mouth. This is their first major controversy. It'll be interesting to see how they bounce back from it and what the future holds in regards to that. But it's like, yeah, if politics is not your wheelhouse, keep that in the group chat. That's all I got to say on that. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Child, we got a lot of comments. Hold on now. He's like, why don't this thing ever scroll up? I always got to Wait, did I read that? Oh yeah, I did read that one. Yeah, I read that one. Oh yeah, I read that one. Wait, that's so small. What is that, a shrimp? What's crazy is, why did the gays really have to get into all that? It's like when you see a friend do something so stupid and senseless, I really do believe maybe they must have fell and hit their head. Well, how's that different than any other day? You talking about he being a mega queen? Or is that a mega queen or MAGA queen? I think he might be secretly MAGA. I mean, it showed in your in your demeanor. In the dog whistles you was putting out there. MAGA queens, maybe Rat Rogers and Benny Johnson. Child, that's what I was talking about with the one time when I be watching Keith Edwards. I couldn't remember his name. Benny Johnson. Talking about how much he loved his family. Oh, you like it up the ass too, allegedly. He definitely gives me Nelly Bottom. Matt talks like he has zero black. I bet you he doesn't. He definitely, or if he does have black friends, it will be somebody like a Justin Sylvester. And how Tina told Bowen Yang, you gonna be typecast as he is, because no shade. Bowen Yang's like, I definitely feel like he fucked up big time by leaving SNL. You should have stayed your ass there, because I honestly, I mean, yeah, he has. Funny enough, he has a movie that he is developing with Matt Rogers. They're working on something together. We're gonna see how that's gonna work out at this point. But Bowen Yang has not proven himself to be a box office star. And on top of that, it's like, yeah, you are going to be typecast as the gay assistant, the best friend, somebody who works in the office, that sort of thing. You are not leading man material. Nobody's going to give you that opportunity because of his flamboyance. You're not Fiyero from Wicked. What's his name, the actor that plays him? Jonathan Bailey. You are not Jonathan Bailey. You're not somebody who is gay, that we know is gay, but exterior-wise gives all masculine, that it's ambiguous. It's not like shoved down your throat as they kind of look at it. So I'm going to fuck it. Okay, well, if you don't care, then you know what to do. Go somewhere else, which is why I just blocked your ass. And he said, knowing that Brian Tyrone created Blue MAGA channel division to silence true independent media. Yeah, that's why I don't like him. Because he's another one, like I said, is paid for by the DNC. Same thing with Too Raw, Too Real. They're paid for by DNC and all that. And also that other post that I did earlier from the Brooklyn, I forgot his name, Brooklyn Dad, the politician that be going in and saying stuff like that. Because, wait, let me look that up, because I had posted this thing and this guy's like, how is that even, I choose to be obtuse. I was like, when it comes to politics, sir, I'm never obtuse. Like, don't play in my face in regards to, I don't know why. It's just like my phone is not. Oh, excuse me. I was like, why is my phone acting up? I be posting so much stuff in my phone. And then we'll get to the drag race thing in a minute once I find this situation. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? So yeah. Brooklyn Dad Defiant, who I be seeing on Twitter all the time, posted this. And in a picture of Obama, he said, I'm old enough to remember when President Obama deported so many people. They called him deporter-in-chief, but he did it without his agents shooting U.S. citizens' mothers in the face 3 times. And one person posted, I don't think this is the flex you think it is. And what I pointed out in my comments, I was like, so an ICE agent not killing an innocent American under Obama's presidency makes it any better because it was a different president? So it's okay for the Democrats to be out here deporting Americans. What some people say it was due process. No, the fuck it wasn't. There was a lot of, like, you have to realize when it comes to certain things, especially when it comes to foreign policy and deportations and that sort of thing, both sides, 2 sides of the same coin, because they serve the same master. Now, I'm not saying they all do everything within lockstep of each other, because there's some extremities that have been going on with the Republican Party. But ICE could have been abolished a long time ago. It's just that we're in the position now where, of course, we have people with no kind of guardrails who just do whatever the hell they want without any kind of consequence, that all of a sudden everybody's noticing a lot of what our politicians have been doing for centuries, especially what this country is built on. This country is built on colonization and slavery. So if you want me to give y'all a history lesson, we can do that. But then somebody was in my comments, somehow, oh, I choose to be out too because it's not the same thing. I'm like, Obama was the reporter in chief. Trump is trying to outperform Obama in that stage. And now we're at a point where people are being killed in this situation, which I knew it was going to get to that point. And now we have MAGA Barbie making, with all that fix-a-flat in her face, trying to move the goalposts and trying to call this woman a terrorist, whatever. And I had coworkers in my job that was agreeing with the fact that of what Chrissy Nome and stuff was saying. And also, he pissed me off because he said that Luigi Mangione need to be executed. And I was seething. Like, I was this close. I wanted to backhand him in the face, but I like my job. So I wasn't going to smack nobody. Because I was like, you old-ass white men with a lot of the way y'all mentalities be thinking, this is why we are where we are. I can't wait for y'all to die off so that way the next generation come in and clean up y'all mess. I live for Jasmine too. Jasmine Crockett is an idiot. Okay, well, you need to give me a reason as to why she's an idiot. First of all, your mama's an idiot. She should have swallowed. Mama is going to end up being the gay side. He already is going to be the gay sidekick. No, not Keith Edwards. I just subscribe to what, child? You better unsubscribe. Do we think MTG will promote Republican candidate? I wouldn't be surprised by what she does. We'll just have to wait and see. No lube. That woman, she tore that hole. She did. She tore that hole up. If Republicans want to keep power, distance from Greenland, that pissed my mom off, embrace anti-Israel movement that's popular by young people. And they think about buying up TikTok that's going to shut all these people up about, the whole fact that people hate Israel's and trying to infiltrate a lot of our Western policies and stuff. It's like, worry about that shit over there. And how they get universal health care, we don't. Off our taxpaying dollars, by the way. It's character because whether the person wins or loses that you support them because it means something to you. Exactly. And I feel like, I was like, are you supporting people because they mean something to you and giving them money? Or is it just, for different reasons? Or because you thinking it's going to be a flex by saying, oh yeah, I voted for this person, I gave them money. To me, it sounds a little selfish if that's the reason why you're doing it. Celebrities stay out of elections, keep it private, but do speak against, speaking out against things that affect you. But it's like, if you want to talk politics and you don't know what you're talking about, leave that to the professionals. It's sort of like Zara Larson went on this whole tirade on her social media because they were trying to say she's what did they say? She's MAGA because she said she loved criminals. She was like, no, I don't. It was like, because y'all were trying to come at her boyfriend over something that happened with him smoking weed and getting in trouble, I guess, out in Sweden. Not George Clooney. Excuse me. Bowen just seems meek and timid. He just shakes his head, which I don't understand that. Like, if you're going to get up, first of all, if you do a podcast, you can't just be like, yeah, I agree. I can't stand people like that. And I've been seeing a lot of that with a lot of people on social media where it's like, a lot of people just shove a microphone in their face and think, oh, I could just talk. And I guess something that makes sense will come out. Everybody that gets up on does a podcast, a lot of y'all don't need a microphone in your face. I like Alec Mappa. I was like, I don't know if it got. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think I met Alec. I forget where, but I know we've run into each other, and I think it might have been out in L.A. He hosts the Gay VNs every now and again. I think he does it every season. Speaking of which, isn't the Gay VN supposed to happen this month? Yeah, he's not heterosexual gay, if that makes sense, or straight acting gay. Corporation money are buying off. Absolutely. Child, I see them other people had other comments that they was making, but child, I blocked their ass. So I don't give a fuck what they had to say. Marsha. Are we talking about Marsha from RuPaul's Drag Race? Is that what we talking about? Anyway, now speaking of Drag Race, let's talk about RuPaul's Drag Race. So episode 2 premiered on Friday. And yes, I did watch it as soon as I got up in the house. I was like, let me put this show on because I am loving this season. I'm absolutely loving this season with the new girls. Definitely having a great time with them. And I'm loving every bit of it. So we're getting to know the 14 queens. Nobody went home in last week's episode. We saw that they had the top 2 girls, Nene Coco and who was the other one that performed? Why I forget her name? The black girl. Not Candy Pleaser. I'm still getting to know these girls over on the show. So wait, who would you say? Oh no, that's somebody else. So anyway, so we had a top 2, whatever they sang. I mean, they performed or whatever. It was cute. I think somebody actually mentioned something that I thought was really cool, and they said that would have probably been a key. I know what it was. It was Classic Tiara when I was watching that show with Bianca Del Rio. They said now it would have been a cute twist if they would have had the 2 winners perform right and one of them had to choose a girl to sashay away. I'm like, yes, that would have been a good twist, but Drag Race would have never did nothing like that. That would have been a good twist. Unfortunately, they didn't give us that. So, yeah, so Vita Von T Star. I don't know why I drew a blank, but I'm still getting to know and remembering these girls, so it's going to take me a minute. So, yeah, we had a top 2, Nene Coco and Vita Von T Star, which they definitely ate up in the thing. Nene, of course, did their big one. I love seeing the fact that Discord Adams was pissed off at her because she didn't get the win and all that other stuff. I'm like, girl, it is what it is. Just be mad that you didn't get picked in this situation or you didn't win in this situation. You and Jane Don't. Now, don't get me wrong. I did like Jane Done's outfit. I thought Jane Don't should have been. Wait, was she in the top 3 if I remember correctly? She just didn't get picked as the top 2. But I just love the fact that now we know Discord's Achilles heel. They could play that up on the show because you know how these producers are. These producers is messy. So after all of that, then they have the main challenge where we get into episode 2, where now they have to do a girl group challenge, which is our winners, Nene Coco and Vita Von T Star, have to do like a schoolyard pick, where basically they get to pick their girl group and then they got to choose amongst the 3 songs that the girls want. And then the girls they don't pick end up being automatically, they're automatically made into a girl group, which I was like, oh, this is going to be messy. So the girls started picking who they were picking, and then they had the girl groups, which was like, okay, so what was the music? Then there was something that was based off disco, which is based off Sylvester. Did not like the song. I was like, y'all doing Sylvester? It was not giving Sylvester. It's giving like, remember if y'all watch Queer as Folk, like one of the things we love about Queer as Folk is the music, but when you watch like the version on Showtime and all these other places, that the music basically sounds like cheap knockoffs of the original songs that they can no longer afford because the music expired. That's what those songs be giving me. None of those songs was good. The only song that I liked was the punk song that was based off Susie and the Banshees and that sort of thing, and you know, that whole vibe. And the Runaways, I was thinking, like when it was given like sort of that vibe, that's the only song I like, the punk song. All the other, I didn't like the disco one. I didn't like the song that was based around George Michael. Like, to me, honestly, I would have really have liked them to pick a different song that was inspired by, like, Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. Yeah, that's the most popular song that they have. Everybody's familiar with that track. But that wasn't one of the, I would have liked them to have picked something else from the Wham era. That would have probably been a much bigger bop, but that's just me. So they wound up picking their girl groups. I was trying to remember to see if and one of the things that was up that pissed them off was, well, especially Athena Dion, she was mad because she didn't get picked. So the leftover girls were Didi Fuego, who, you know, we like to call a mandatory meeting over here because she kind of does favor her, Darlene Mitchell, Mandy Mango, and Athena Dion. And I think they didn't pick Mandy because Mandy was in the bottom. Athena, a lot of their ideas, or especially on that, especially Nene Coco, saying that I didn't pick her because she kind of gives off like she's not a team player. And no shade. I think it's because Athena's personality is very much, I am the icon. I am the grande dame of drag. She's not up there on the level as like Sasha Colby. she's not on the same level as her. Like everybody and their mama know who Sasha Colby was before she came on the show. But Athena Dion is very well known in Florida circles and a lot of the drag circles. Not necessarily in the mainstream, but she definitely has like a big name for herself. And I guess people felt like maybe she was a little too big for her britches, that they didn't want to pick her. So they left her in the other group, and she was seething the entire episode. So she was definitely upset about the whole thing, and I was cackling. So the girl groups that were created, you know, they had, as I said, so yeah, so Athena was, well, they had the girl groups. Athena was mad. She was like, y'all not gonna make a fool out of me in this damn episode. So, and then so we get to the whole situation where they gotta, once they're picked, then they, of course, you already knew it was coming. They had to argue over who landed which of the 3 song options. Everybody wanted fucking disco. So, because, you know, you had Vita's team, it was Briar Blush, Juicy, and Jane, which they ended up picking the punk rock track Cherries, which I thought was a good move. But then Vita said that was her plan all along. She just wanted to piss off Athena. So then Nene, Mia, Sierra, Mikey, and Kenya wound up getting the pop track Go Go Go, which was inspired by Wham. And then the leftovers, Athena, Dee Dee, Darlene, and Mandy, they basically got disco, which was called Funko Mighty, which was inspired by Sylvester. Now, of course, when they got around to doing the dance part and then all that other stuff, there were some girls that was up there struggling. But I love the fact that, you know, they were smart to grab Mia. That Nene's team wound up picking Mia because Mia ate with her dancing. And first of all, I have the biggest crush on Mia. I think Mia is so cute, out of drag. So you know, so then they had to do the choreography, and then Mia basically led the team through their steps, doing a full-on, basically showed a whole playbook. But you know how like she a coach for a football team or whatever, and was showing like, this is the plan and everything I got in regards to the dancing. The girls were picking it up, and it was great. So then, you know, Discord basically got called out by the judges for her runway walk. I did find it funny that Michelle did cackle at her walk again. And it's crazy because nobody can sit and tell her about the walk unless I think the judges got to bring it up. But I think the producers like, for now, let's all have a kiki over this situation. So they can't really bring it up because you have to remember, the girls don't get to see each other walk. They walk twice. One with music, one without music. So they do the walk or whatever, and Michelle says what she says, and the girls don't see each other on how they walk the runway, so they can't critique and be like, girl, you need to, let me help you with your walk. Because that walk is a choice. So then after they did all the, you know, the choreographers, I think the ones that was struggling was Athena's team, because Athena said she's not necessarily a dancer. She did have some girls that was on that team with some left feet. And their music, the choreography was so basic. I was like, it's not giving disco. Like, to me, whenever I think of disco, disco's choreography is very intricate. And so you can't just be doing this whole like, I mean, you need like stuff like that. Like, you got to do, you know, a lot of those different crazy moves or whatever the case is. You can't just be like you on fucking Broadway doing Fosse. Like, when you doing disco, I be thinking of, if you ever watched the show So You Think You Could Dance, like a lot of the crowd, I'm not saying you gotta lift people up and twirl them in the air and do all other stuff. A lot of them girls don't look like they got that upper body strength. But if you're gonna do some choreography, you gotta bring a little more to it. But the problem was nobody on that team were like dancers or somebody who knows how to do choreography. So I guess they try to do it come up with something as basic as possible and hope that the judges would give them a pass. But in that situation, it didn't work. So now we get to the main challenge in regards of the whole situation. As I do a picture switch, because, you know, we got to come with like all the different things. So as they got ready for their performances, Jane basically started some mess by asking Athena how she felt about not being picked. I'm like, here we go. That was production telling y'all to do that for one of the girl groups, and basically said she felt plucked, gagged, and flabbergasted. So Nene basically had to tell her that the reason why she didn't pick her was that you always want to make it the Athena show. So The leftovers team, basically, they backed Athena and, for working really well with them, and they felt confident. They showed the other groups how, they shouldn't have been disregarded. But last I checked, didn't we see a scene where it was kind of like Didi Fuego was kind of like going back and forth, like she wanted to give some of her ideas, but Athena was sort of like taking over, so she really didn't get to project her ideas as much as she would have liked. So to me, y'all said that we was all team players, but then what was that clip we saw before y'all got in the room and started beating y'all faces for the challenge? So which one is it? So I would have loved for them to do like a rewind and then bring that part up. So then after we got, let me tell you, that runway challenge was a cackle. Because after they performed their performance and all this other stuff, then the category was your neck, your back, your pussy, and your crack, which I thought was hilarious that they had T.S. Madison, of all judges, on that panel for that, because her relationship with Kaya and that whole drama that happened with that. So the fact of the matter that they had the neck, your back, your pussy, and your crack as a challenge, as a runway challenge, that was hilarious. And I love the idea of like the girls coming out and accentuating the best parts of their bodies. So it's like, if you got a nice booty, I'm going to show it off. You got a nice back, I'm going to show it off. I'm going to show off my coochie. And I didn't like Mia's lip because she was trying to do all four in one, but your face was covered. It was like, if you're going to show neck, back, pussy, and crack and do all the little things with it, we need to see your face. Like, I wanted to see, I didn't like the netting over the face and it was like completely covered. So I don't like that. Now, the group that ended up in the bottom was Athena's group for the disco challenge or whatever the case was. And they basically said that they didn't retain the soulfulness of their track, and instead it came across as clunky. But Michelle did, I will say, complimented Athena for being the most draggy drag queen of the season. Well, yeah, she's a drag queen through and through, so she's going to give you full-on drag with that. And I love the fact that they had Dove Cameron on the show, because I'm like, it's been a minute since we had her on there. But yeah, we had her a couple of seasons ago. I can't remember exactly the season she was on. Y'all can let me know in the comments. And the fact that they said that Didi was as stiff as a dick, I did cackle. I was like, there go Maddie with that, with her comment in regards to that. But she basically, and it was like, yeah, Didi, you were kind of stiff. But the judges did definitely agree that Mia showed herself to be basically a star because, for the moment she opened her mouth, and they loved that Jane knew what she wanted to do with her vocal verse and executed it properly. So my favorite happened to be the punk rock scene, as I stated earlier. I love the performance, and my favorite lyrically was Jane Don't. She gave the best lyrics out of all the girls in that whole situation. So, and it's funny how a lot of the other girls were looking to Jane to help them out with their lyrics, to like spice it up a little bit. Even Discord, and she's like, wait a minute, aren't you in a rock group? But I guess if she plays guitar, I don't know if she writes music. But also, I found it quite funny, because I did bring this up and I posted it on social media. I was like, when she was talking about how drag has become so Disney-fied, I'm sitting there like, sis, how you talking about how Disney-fied drag has become when you're actually competing on one of the most Disney-fied drag shows on TV? Like, Drag Race is the Disney version of drag. And you talking about how Disney drag has become. Make that make sense. But I get it. It's an opportunity to push yourself out there and be seen, and there's a big audience, and opportunities will come, and the possibility of winning $200,000, whatever. I feel like at this point that prize need to be a little higher. I don't know how we 18 season in $200,000. Like, really, sis? While they giving away millions of dollars on some damn America's Got Talent. MTV got the coins. I don't know why they're trying to act cheap. So to get to the end part, Jane Don't anointed the winner of the week, which was well deserved because she was my favorite out of all the girls. And then Darlene and Athena were safe. The bottom two we basically had was yet again Mandy Mango and Didi Fuego, or as I like to say, a mandatory meeting. So yeah, they were our bottom two girls. And they ended up having to lip sync for their life to Dove's song Too Much, which I gagged. I was like, wait a minute now. I ain't never heard this song. That was a bop. I was like, found out Dove from the Disney girl, one of the Disney girls is actually out here putting out one of these electro pop type. I was like, okay, this is a drag queen song. And no shade, but Dee Dee was stiff up on that stage. The pink loofah that she was running around the stage with, it was just too much. There wasn't a lot of body movement. But I will say this, when Mandy was up there, every time she did a dip, I did cackle because Ru was cackling. So she's like, them dips was clunky. Somebody said death drop, which I shudder. It's not a death drop, it's a dip. If y'all going to use things in ballroom, I need y'all to get the vernacular correct. So, Mandy with them dips and how she was moving, but at least she was being physical. She ripped that dress off, was like, bitch, it's on and popping. Even with no wig, she served. So at the end, after the performance and everything, Mandy basically left her mark. She won the challenge. Even the rap section, she was just like, look to the mouth where it was very much giving Coco Montrese. When he was pointing to the mouth and doing the part when, what was it? It was wasn't Paula Abdul's song or something she did that to, if I can't remember. So yeah. And then the dips or whatever where she was doing all of those, even though like I said it was a little bit clunky, I was here for it. And she managed to stay, and then Dee Dee was asked to sashay away. So I was really not expecting Dee Dee to sashay away. I was not expecting her to go home first. I was like, oh, let me find out that Dee Dee is about to be the pork chop of the season. So yeah, she actually ended up getting the chop. It'll be interesting to see what next week's episode is going to bring, because they're doing RDR Live, which is basically the Drag Race version of SNL. So it'll be interesting to see how they do with that. I don't even remember who was supposed to be the guest judge or whatever, because I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. I think at that point I was getting tired because I got home late on Friday going into Saturday. So I was like starting to fall asleep a little bit during the deliberations. I nodded off a little bit. And then when that Dove Cameron song came on, it jolted me a lot. I was like, wait a minute, what is that music? And then I just woke up and realized Drag Race was still, so I think I fell asleep for like 2 minutes and then I was awake. But nevertheless, it was a really solid episode. I'm definitely loving the way things are going so far with Drag Race. It's definitely giving me my life. This seemed like the strongest group of girls we've had in a long time. The production is producing. The candidates are relatively strong. The girls are really bringing it with the personalities. And yeah, it's going to start making cuts, and we're going to see how it is, because now we got the acting challenge, so we're going to see who's able to, who's going to be able to do what they need to do in that. So I'm definitely loving it, and I'm looking forward to seeing next week's episode. I did see that Roscoe's has, on the next episode, which premieres tomorrow, they had Roxy and Detox, so that'll be interesting, because I know they're going to ask them questions about this drama surrounding Ginger and all that mess in the show so far. And the fact that I also saw an article that Roxy said she's not coming back to compete on Drag Race. I was like, there's really no need to, because the season she should have won on, that All-Star season, she didn't win. So why would I want to come back? Y'all played in her face off of that one. So overall, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do you think the right person went home? What do you think overall on the competition? Do you think the right person won the challenge? What are you thinking of this season so far? Yeah, we're 2 seasons in, and it's definitely pretty much it's a solid season so far, and I'm liking everything that I'm seeing. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts were on this story in the comments down below. Wait, I was like, damn, I gotta go back. Vita is the fierce black queen. I was like, I'm gonna be drawing blanks for a while. I gotta get to know these girls. It's gonna take maybe 3 or 4 episodes for it to start clicking in with the name. But it's hard to remember all these. Why do you think they have to feed RuPaul who a lot of these girls are? Because apparently, once upon a time, a girl by the name of Alicia Edwards competed on Drag Race multiple times, and even won. I don't know who Alicia Edwards is, but I definitely want her to win. So we had that. Michelle laughs every time Discord. I mean, it is funny. I was like, what is that? She wore like her back hurt. If you meant Achilles, knee, or ankle, that wall. Excuse me. That was a vibe. I don't know what you was listening to. And you said rest in legacy, George. I was so invested in the book I was reading last Friday night that I completely missed the episode and joined 20 minutes into the rerun episode at 10. I could not catch on to the happenings. Probably because when you got 20 minutes in, it was a lot going on. It was a lot that episode. It was a jam-packed episode. Because there was so much going on. It was like, the girls got saved. Then they weren't in the workroom. Then they got the challenge that they had to split the girl groups in two teams, and then the third is the leftovers. And then the drama with it. It was a lot. And then picking the song. It was so much that happened within the 20 minutes. It was like, yeah, you would be kind of lost. The episode proves that Athena Dion is not in the same caliber as Sasha Colby, no matter how iconic she is in one city. And Mykonos. And even then, I knew about Juicy Love Dion before. Come on, Shade. I don't know if it was in the regular episode or Untucked, but it was nice to see Athena break character and actually acted like a mother to Juicy, saying she wasn't going to leave her all alone when Juicy was crying. Probably, it might have been Untucked because I may have to watch that episode again because I fell asleep on Untucked. I worked the runway, sweetie. That's a RuPaul line. Since I live in South Florida, Athena is an icon here, but yeah, she's not on the same level as Sasha Colby. So if Athena Dion isn't a performer or a comedy queen, then what does she do? What do you do successfully? Why don't remind me of Bianca Del Rio? But it's like, she's a drag queen. Like when Michelle was like, oh, I love how you're giving drag in this whole. She's like one of those drag girls, like the pageant girls and the ones that just be out there with the microphone and the outfits and the beads and the gowns and all this stuff and just gives drag and glamour. That's what she gives. She's not somebody, I guess, that gives all the things that I guess there's drag queens who do like that drag, but then there's the drag race girls, the people that can access on what is required or acquired on a TV show. So that's what I'm assuming that is. And so I'd love to see my friend TP Lloyds get on the show. She's another South Florida icon. Well, I'm sure she'll probably get on there if she puts it together. It's if you do a Roscoe's commentary review, that will get views. Probably should start doing those. But the thing is, that means I'm going to have to subscribe to their thing because they edit the shit out of their Roscoe shows. And because they want you to pay that $2 or however much it is. I think it is $2. And then you get all the extra stuff. So maybe I should start doing that. It's like we go through the whole Roscoe's thing and I give my overall thoughts on it. Didi looks a lot like, because I don't think anybody's actually doing Roscoe's commentary. Didi look a lot. She almost looks like Amanda. And he said, I guess Roxy tore Ginger up. And she probably did, because I haven't, funny enough, I've been scrolling and looking for the Roscoe clips, because people do be pulling out their phone and record. I do be looking for those clips, but I didn't look this week. I did see the ones with Willem and what's his name? Oh, Willem and Mistress. I did see that one. Even Big Brother to win to get $750K now. That's what I said. Y'all can up that a little bit. 200, like do 500,000. The geek of the season is usually the first out. Is it? Didi ain't got no fuego. Clearly, she ain't got none of that. She don't got that fire. No, I was Team Angeria. Roxy brought a mixtape made with. Not a mixtape made with Ivan. No, don't get me wrong. I love Angeria. I met her in person when I was at the Drag Race premiere for season 18, and very nice. Also, my friend David Lab has photographed her many a times, and she's done a lot of work with him, and I think wants to continue to collaborate with him on photos because he definitely knows how to make these drag queens look fierce out in these streets. So, I'm glad that she won, but that was shady though. When you talking about she brought a mixtape made with an iPhone. This was a great show, great topics. And well, thank you. Yeah, because I did have some other topics earlier, but I was like, oh, these are too heavy, so I had to cut them out. Discord needs to do show up. Should Discord do the show, or I don't know if Discord would be. I mean, I don't know. Maybe she would probably do better on Dragula. I would not be surprised if she does trial for Dragula because she might work over there in regards to that. Or would who's the other girl? Sierra Mist. I don't know, between Sierra Mist's drag and possibly Discord Adams, I could see either one of them do Dragula. I would love to see them on there. Because I told y'all, when I saw Sierra Mist come out with that Ivan Ooze, drag look, and she had the purse with the slime in it, I was like, okay, this is creative. I was living for that. So I like her. I liked her drag. I could definitely see both of them possibly going on Dragula. We'll just have to see if that's something that they would be up for. Like I said, we've had Drag Race girls compete on there before, like J. Jolie, who was just a qualifier from that last season of Titans. So I don't know if she'll be able to come back. I like the season a lot. I do feel like they are doing the hard challenges so early. Then they're going to be new challenges that we have, hopefully, because one of the things they do need to switch up, we need new challenges. I haven't said they need to figure out the Evolve Snatch game because there's only so many people you can do impressions of. The British Australian Queen does Roscoe's commentary. Yeah. Matt. Speaking of Matt, did y'all see Matt Cohen's video of him going to Thailand? First of all, I definitely want to take a trip. I meant to send it to a friend of mine because he currently lives out there. He's talking about he's moving back to the United States in the summer, which low key I was happy because I like get my friend back. But I don't want to tell all his business or whatever, but I was just like, I knew you wasn't gonna last long out there, but I don't want to be one of those friends that, if someone says I'm going to up and leave and go and do whatever, that I hold them back. And I'm just like, no, I don't think you should do it. Because I wouldn't have wanted people to do that to me when I packed my shit and just left and moved to LA because I was over New York and I needed a break from New York at the time. So I didn't have anybody who held me back. Everybody was just like, if that's what especially my mother, she was like, if that's what you want to do, then get up and go ahead and do what you got to do. If you want to leave and pursue and do all the things you need to do in LA, go ahead and do that. And I went. And I realized how superficial a lot of that was. And so I decided to just come back because I couldn't deal with the superficiality of LA. Roxy and Detox were on. Yeah, the last episode. That's what I said. It premieres on Monday. I think if you are a subscriber, you get it early. But the regular schmegular folks get it on Monday. I really liked Angeria in season 14, but I felt as though she was overshadowed in All Stars 9 by how many heavy hitters she was with. I wanted Roxy Plastique and Georges to win before Angeria. Yeah, y'all gonna make me rewatch that season. I already started watching. I don't know, for some reason it felt my gut wanted me to rewatch the season with Alyssa and Coco. So I watched the season that Jinx Monsoon won. So I started rewatching it. Then I'm going to do Bianca. And then I think that season, because that's season 6. And then I think I'm going to go back and watch All Stars because I'm kind of like in the mood for that. Well, actually, that was one of the topics that I was going to put in today's show. But I was like, that's a little too heavy. I don't want to talk about child porn charges on a Sunday. Because it's the Lord's Day. Maybe we'll say that for tomorrow. Because I want to see like how the structure of the topics are before I throw it in. I was like, I don't want to do no heavy topics today. I was like, the only heavy topic I really wanted to focus on was that Matt Rogers mess. And to me, that was like the longest topic that we did. But I also not that invested in a show to care who wins unless Georges is the runner-up and Rhythm Nation was the finale. Yeah. I was like, that was a choice. And also, I like the fact that Georgia said that she's going to take her time away from doing the show. So she's like, maybe in a couple of years. But yeah, let her grow. Let her do her thing. Let her go out and perform in other places. I'm sure you noticed my question about New York. I'm thinking about moving Wait, what? Astrocartography indicates I may have luck in Long Island, New York City, as well as Seattle, San Fran, and Portland. So many choices. Long Island's a little conservative though. I don't know if it I know a lot of people say like Manhattan. Manhattan's too damn expensive. I mean, Brooklyn is cute. Was that why you was answering all them questions about the clubs? The Brooklyn might be a good spot. I'm thinking I want to move back to Brooklyn. I miss Brooklyn. I mean, I like Bushwick. It's kind of like when I lived in Silver Lake. I said it's like gentrified, but it's still got a little dirt under its nails. Still a little hood. It's like you still walk out your house, you see a drunk guy, in Silver Lake I did. You see drunk Mexicans passed out on the ground from all that drinking they was doing. So you see that, and you see that in New York too. So yeah, whatever your decision is, I'll be here for. I mean, Portland I heard is pretty cute as well. Isn't it very gay friendly out in Portland? So whatever you decide, let us know in the chat. All right, y'all. So now it looks like we are at the end of today's show. It's funny. I thought it would be less than almost 3.5 hours we did this show. But, when I come in and ask all the questions on this stuff, thank you all for tuning in to today's episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Also, once again, thank you, Robert, for becoming a member because I set up memberships and stuff for the show. Maybe down the road when I hit 10K, I might start doing members only shows and that sort of thing. But it's still a fresh, wet behind the ears show that we still just constantly growing. We're over 3K, trying to hit that 4K within the month. So yeah, love you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning into the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. If you have not, please hit that like button, smash the notification bell. Also hit that subscribe so that way when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll be back on tomorrow with a brand new episode because it's Sundays technically is a brand new week, but we'll come on and do all the other. Oh, you said your commentary has been a treasure. Can't wait for the next show. Well, thank you for all who appreciate the mess that comes out of this mouth. Because if I didn't have it, if I was just on here running my mouth and nobody was watching, I'd basically be just a crazy person talking to myself. So thank you all for appreciating this show and liking all the things that we talk about over here. I'll be back, as I said, tomorrow with a brand new episode. Love you all for watching. Thank you all for your continued support. And until next time. Ciao, darlings.